movies and games and TV shows, the Cinemaniacs podcast.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Cinemaniacs podcast, where we talk movies, games, and TV shows. I, of course, am your host, Maceo, and as always, I am joined by
Matthew.
And a lot of stuff has happened this week.
Yeah,
Let's
got some interesting stuff for sure.
let's hop into it. So, starting off here, as an introduction to this episode, some really good news. The writers' strike has ended.
Yes,
They have come to an agreement. Well, they've come to an agreement. The writers and the Hollywood business execs have
Warner Bros,
Warner Bros,
Disney,
Netflix, stuff
Netflix,
like that.
Apple probably as well.
Yeah,
All the entertainment.
yeah.
Basically.
They've come to an agreement.
Yeah.
I don't. Obviously, the general public probably won't know what it is.
Yeah,
At least not for a while. But they came to an agreement, and that means writing can begin again. However, the actors' strike is still ongoing.
I actually heard that they offered the writers and the actors both offers. The writers accepted, and that's what ended their strike. And Brian Cox, the one of the big stars on HBO's Succession, he said some of the specifics about the deal that they got. He's specifically, I think the money aspect wasn't like the problem, but they specifically said that they wanted to like use their likeness and stuff like that in like future stuff, so like voicing, acting, stuff like that. They're still adamant on like kind of taking like some part of the literally who these actors are and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And like
CGI generated images.
Yeah, without having to pay them or, anything like that. That's very strange.
Yeah. It's it's really odd.
He was like, yeah, that's got to go.
Yeah. Yeah, please don't do that. Yeah.
But that's good though that the writer's strike is they got an agreement and stuff, and that's
stuff can start again.
Yeah.
We needed actors. We need both actors and writers, obviously. But the writers' strike being over means that things can go back into production.
Yeah.
Because without actors, as long as they weren't shooting already, they can still write a movie and stuff. So, and that's arguably the most important part is the writing, because that's literally the beginning of a movie. Yeah. So
the story, getting written. So, people are writing again.
People are writing again.
Definitely a good thing.
Yeah. Very good, very good. But we can hop into our news now.
Yes.
Starting off, we got our first trailer for a movie that I did not realize was coming out called Dream Scenario. And it's an A24 movie starring Nicolas Cage.
Yes.
And it's about, he's this normal guy, this unassuming man that is just appearing in people's dreams. And he becomes famous worldwide because people are just having dreams about him. It seems very strange. Now, obviously, it's an A24 movie, so there's more to that, obviously. Yeah. But it's got a very interesting premises. And Nicolas Cage being the main guy is kind of interesting. It's very intriguing stuff. Did you see the trailer at all?
Yeah, I saw the trailer. Definitely looked really interesting and stuff. Definitely looks kind of very A24 unique in a sense,
Yeah.
And Nicolas Cage, obviously, and there's a really good mix for sure.
He's people are saying that he gives a great performance. People that have already seen the movie are saying that gives one of his best performances. So
maybe it's his year with this and Renfield.
And this is technically the year before, but an unbearable weight of massive talent.
Yes, yeah.
I'd consider that just within the span of a year. It's like he's had a good time so far. He's had a good run this past year. But yeah, so A24 Dream Scenario. In other news, we got our first look at the reboot for Toxic Avenger. The Toxic Avenger. This is a movie that I have personally never seen. I've never seen the original Toxic Avenger film. It's a very, I believe it's a very low budget, like cult classic, like very small cult classic film.
Okay.
I believe it's literally just this guy that has gets toxic waste on him or something and becomes a toxic Avenger. Like Avenger is in like, avenging, not Avenger like Marvel, but obviously that. And I have no idea what the original movie is about. All I know is that this is starring Peter Dinklage and Elijah Wood. And Peter Dinklage plays our main guy. He's the toxic Avenger. We got our first looks at him as Winston Goose, a.k.a. the Toxic Avenger. And we got our first look at Elijah Wood as Fritz Garbinger. He looks like the Penguin.
I'm loving this, like, Gollum kind of penguin look from Elijah Wood. Definitely really interesting.
Yeah.
For sure. Gives me gives me Tobey Maguire vibes from when he did Babylon last year.
Yeah. Okay.
With like the messed up teeth and the
he's supposed to be Charlie Chaplin, right?
I don't think Tobey Maguire was. I don't think.
Okay.
He might have been, but
I heard that he was supposed to be Charlie Chaplin.
He very sickly looking and stuff, and Elijah Wood here. I mean, he's given his comic accurate penguin vibe for sure.
He gives off that Danny DeVito penguin.
That like strand of hair in the front.
It's like blowing in his face. Yeah, it's very 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 Gollum-esque look going on, and I think he's clearly supposed to be the villain of the film. I think that's probably
he's the good guy.
Yeah, he's the good guy. Yeah, Fritz Garbinger, who looks like an evil goblin, is the good character. But he's looking good. Actually, it's funny you say he looks like Tobey Maguire from Babylon, but I think he just looks like Tobey Maguire in general. Like him and Elijah Wood.
Yeah,
or Elijah Wood and Tobey look.
They kind of do. Yeah, I actually was just noticing that, like while looking at it, like, dang, that kind of looks.
Yeah.
Kind of similar to Tobey Maguire in like a really messed up costume as well.
Elijah looks like he could be the younger brother of Tobey Maguire.
Yeah.
Like the little brother.
I get that for sure.
Yeah. Anyways, Toxic Avenger reboot. Interesting.
I have to check it out.
I have no idea what the original one is like, but I know a couple people that say it's pretty good. So, we got the Robert Kirkman, who is the writer for Invincible, says that they're planning to give us 7 to 8 seasons of this story. Yummy. Scrumdiddlyumptious. That sounds good.
I'd say we'll probably get season 8 approximately like 2045.
Yeah.
Even still.
I love the jokes that are like, I hope I'm alive for season 8. But yeah, it's 7 to 8 seasons.
That sounds awesome, man.
They gotta up the working time if they want 7 to 8 seasons.
Yeah.
If they want this generation to see 7 or 8 seasons of Invincible, they gotta up that working time.
I kind of hope that maybe they've been cooking a little bit like past season 2 already a little bit.
It's very possible.
Maybe they've like, okay, we got a good like majority of season 2 done, so now we're gonna divert some of our people over there.
Yeah.
You
think it's possible maybe they already have maybe like 2 seasons done?
That would be awesome. That would be like, and they probably drop season 2, and then drop season 3 in like 6 months after that.
They could easily, yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah,
that'd be awesome.
But 7 to 8 seasons,
and I've heard that the Invincible comics and stuff get really like crazy and stuff like that. Battles get crazy. The cast gets bigger and better and stuff. So I'm very excited and stuff to see where this the show goes with it.
Yeah, a lot of potential.
Yeah,
a lot of potential, especially after that first season. It's crazy. There's only one season. It feels like there's more, but there's only one season, and people still love it as much as they do.
Yeah,
can't wait.
Oh, it's gonna be awesome.
This November is season 2. I'm pretty sure.
I think so,
End of October, beginning of November. I can't really remember, but yeah,
it's gonna be great.
Yeah. Guillermo del Toro was apparently going to do a Star Wars film written by David Goyer.
Yes.
I don't think I knew this, but he came out and said that he had a movie he was going to be doing. But it obviously is not happening now.
Yeah.
Del Toro, I don't know. I know Del Toro's style is more like Renaissance type feeling of like.
He's very stylistic.
Yeah,
I can say that he's definitely extremely stylistic director. Although he does have some stuff that's kind of different. Like he made a Pacific Rim, like the first Pacific Rim
No
movie.
way.
Yeah, he made that.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and he's made some different things for sure. Like he made the Pinocchio animated Pinocchio movie.
Right.
He made that movie Crimson Peak that I watched a while back.
Yes.
Not a while back, it was a couple of weeks ago. And it was like a horror movie kind of, and that is kind of his like preferred genre, I guess you could say, is horror, yeah.
Yeah.
Or at least it seems like. In animation, obviously. He's a very big advocate of animation.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, this kind of sucks, man. Just kind of another like huge like stylistic director that is, you know, some way or another can't get their Star Wars project done, you know.
Add it to the list.
Yeah, and it's this one might probably this one honestly might hurt the most because
you think so?
I mean, he at least would have brought in a very unique style to Star Wars that would have not been like, it would have been completely different than any other project.
Oh yeah,
and
incredibly different.
That's one thing you could say for a lot of those names that were on that list, but Del Toro specifically because of his very like profound style, and stuff like that.
That's
because like Taika would have made like, you know, a good comedy, and it probably would have differed from what, you know, we get from the usual Star Wars formula for sure. But Del Toro's is like the entire like story and the feeling entirely just would have been different. Yeah, and that very much is a blow.
Yeah, as much as a bummer it is to lose like Taika and like Phil Lord and Chris Miller and stuff like that. Is Taika, I feel like it would feel like Ragnarok, you know, space comedy. Yeah, it would probably feel just like Ragnarok and Love and Thunder. Yeah, but that's not to say that it would have been inventive in its own right. You know? Yeah. So it's all a shame. You know, it's all like, damn.
It really makes you feel though that maybe whoever's like the head of this like certain department or whatever, or I don't know whoever's running this certain thing, but maybe it feels like they need to reevaluate their position there. Maybe
they need to definitely reevaluate
because we're losing good directors making good Star Wars projects.
You know how many good Star Wars movies and shows we could have had by now? And even
if they're not good, at least they would have been like, you know, different feeling.
Inventive.
They would have been style.
Yeah.
And it probably would have been different characters, which a lot of people are, you know, kind of begging for at this point, is to please give us something that like has nothing to do with anybody that we know. Like, right. That's what a lot of people want. And honestly, I agree. Like, give us some original characters, and not like original as in this is Joe Bob the farmer who's going to join us and we're going to save his farm from this monster or something. No.
One-off minor characters.
Yeah, like, no, bro. Give us like actual, you know, something.
A new Anakin, basically. Yeah. I mean, they tried doing that with Rey and stuff, and it didn't work out.
Yeah.
But that's because she was written poorly. You know, all those characters were, you know, at some point or another became written poorly.
But it feels like a lot of people, though, like, can pretty obviously see like where the direction of Star Wars has went from like post Mandalorian season 1 and on, like when Mandalorian ended with Luke and stuff. And I'm not even saying that's a bad thing. I loved the introduction of Luke and Ahsoka into the Mandalorian. That was really awesome. Yeah. And stuff like that. But then it kind of felt like the like shifted from, the Mandalorian, you know, this like kind of secluded story, and they turned it into like following, you know, into the main people that we know again, and then also Clone Wars people as well. Like, I get it, they're Mandalorian and stuff, and he's gonna be, you know, exploring around at the same era and everything, but like he can be separated. He can be that can be separate. It's a big galaxy.
Yep, they proved it because in the first 2 seasons, the first season,
basically the first 2 seasons.
Up until the last episode of the. Well, because Ahsoka comes in early in the second season.
Yeah, but even her, she's just one episode as well.
Yeah, and she's a character we've never seen in live action. Yeah, so it still has its its benefits. But then it ends with Luke. You know?
It ends with Luke.
But so yeah, the first 2 seasons minus maybe the last episode are all very disconnected from the Skywalkers and then, all that.
And then shows like Book of Boba Fett, they have like an entire episode where we focus on nothing that has to do with Boba Fett.
It's not even in the episode.
It's literally just Luke, Ahsoka, and Mando.
Yeah.
Like, this is a Mandalorian episode.
Yep.
And then in season 3 of Mandalorian, they have kind of similar things with Luke and Grogu and stuff just on the planet, which that's okay, I guess, because Grogu's half there, but it's still, I don't know, man. I just don't like how they don't have like any secluded storylines going on. Really.
Yeah.
Everything is still just, let's tie everything in together for this one line, you know?
Yeah.
And that kind of worked when it was just trilogies, you know?
Yeah.
That worked when it was just trilogies of movies, but when you started doing spin-off movies and TV shows and everything, it doesn't really work that way anymore. You got to have something different, you know?
Yeah.
And
they're getting rid of all these people that have very inventive, creative ideas that would be very different.
Yeah.
And they're saying, no, we want more of the same. You know, stuff that'll make people happy in the moment, and then or make them incredibly angry in the moment.
I'll say this: the only hope I have right now is this. I believe it's a movie coming out called The Acolyte. And that's set before Episode 1, but it's set before any Star Wars like live action thing that we know of. Actually, any Star Wars thing in general, I don't think there's any animated thing before that either. So besides video games go before that. They, they're not exactly canon. But the Acolyte is set before. So literally the only possible, and it's like in a whole different era as well,
right?
Because they officially came out with eras and stuff, and they said that this Acolyte film was the first one of that like first kind of era of like the dawn of the Jedi. And so there is one director that hopefully does stay on with his project, and that's James Mangold
with Acolyte, right?
I don't think it's Acolyte. I think he's making a separate one called which is like the Dawn of the Jedi. That one is like the birth of the Jedi and stuff like that. Hopefully that still happens. But the Acolyte, which is like coming out sooner, I imagine, is closer to Episode 1. So like Yoda could possibly be in it, but I don't know how possible that is. But I think it actually focuses around a Sith.
Really?
I think that is the main.
That's a good idea.
Kind of idea. So it's set before anything, so it's kind of secluded. And there's also that James Mangold, Dawn of the Jedi kind of movie, which that would be probably secluded as well. Yeah. So we'll
see about that one. I had so much faith in James Mangold for this. Yeah. For he did Logan, and then he did he did a Ford v Ferrari.
Yeah, Ford v Ferrari.
Two fantastic films that I knew of that I loved.
Yeah.
And Indiana Jones came out, and I was very excited for it, and it was poopy. It was a big dump. It was not good. And I don't want to pin that all on him. It was very obviously a lot of Disney's doing is why that movie is not that good. You can tell where his ideas were shining through and where he wanted to have a much deeper, darker, more intimate story.
Yeah.
And Disney was like, "Nah, we gotta make a new lead character and set up Harrison Ford to come back, even though he's almost 90 years old. He's not gonna come back." And I'm not saying he's gonna die. I'm saying that he is simply done. He is simply over. But yeah, I had so much faith in James Mangold, and not to say that he is the entire problem, but he's still attached to that project, so obviously there is going to be disappointment from him too.
Yeah, and this is another Disney,
even bigger Disney. I mean, it's Star Wars. It is like the other half of Disney.
And no one's ever like even, at least in my mind, even thought about like telling a story about like the beginning of like the Jedi or the beginning of like the Force in general. You know? It's completely like original. Like Yoda cannot be alive. That's the oldest known. That's like he could be the
900 something.
He would. Let me put it this way: he would be the oldest character that would like span backwards for us to be able to see in the past before Episode 1.
Yeah,
he would not be alive during the Dawn of the Jedi, at all.
Right.
So it's
very, very
definitely secluded, and like you said, it could be a situation where it's heavy studio interference. big things, or we get another Logan, we get another Ford v Ferrari in, you know, a big blockbuster sense for Star Wars. Obviously, I think with the recent trends and stuff, probably leaning more towards the former.
Yeah,
rather than the latter.
unfortunately.
But it is what it is, you know?
Yeah.
I guess we'll have to play it by ear,
Yeah.
eye.
Play it by eye, yeah. Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see. It's, you know, Disney and Star Wars haven't had a great rap so far.
Yeah.
I mean, there have been moments where it's like, oh, you have something. Mandalorian, you had something.
Yeah.
Season 3 came out, and through Season 3, although I don't think is terrible, it's definitely a step down from the previous 2 seasons.
Yeah. And that's not to say all their stuff is bad either. Like, there are episodes in Kenobi, which I really love.
Yes.
And there are episodes in Kenobi where I'm like, what are we doing here?
Yep.
You know? And we'll obviously talk about it later. Ahsoka as well.
Yeah.
Ahsoka, there's moments where it's really strong, really good.
Yeah.
More so as of recent, which is pretty good.
Yeah, yeah.
Obviously, we'll get into that later. But there obviously are bad moments as well. You know?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, let's get consistent, you know? Let's keep getting that good quality out there, you know? And not get those episodes where it's like, that's kind of, you know? And it's not usually just one. It's usually at least 2, maybe 3 even.
Yeah.
And it's just like, that episode was nothing.
Yeah. This did nothing. I feel nothing about it. And it doesn't help that most of these shows that they've been making were supposed to be movies. They were supposed to be movies, and they stretched out what was supposed to be a 2-hour movie into a 6-hour show.
Yeah.
And they purely did that to boost their streaming service, and then in turn we have a show that clearly should have just been a movie because it's stretched too thin.
Yeah, and that's where you get those moments where like characters, like the writing of characters just kind of go in a circle.
Yep.
And they're just like, oh, yeah, they literally just talk. Like it will just be a back and forth conversation on a ship or a planet or whatever, and it will go nowhere. It will go in a circle, and maybe and if we're, you know, unlucky, that entire episode will focus around that character and their character arc going in a circle. Yeah. I cannot stand the whole like, oh yeah, I'm going to change or whatever, and then you don't change.
You don't, yeah.
It's like,
yeah. Some of the worst. Yeah.
It's been lazy.
Yes, it's been very lazy. Yeah,
at the least. But that's not to say that it hasn't. You know, obviously there's hardworking people behind it and stuff. That's not to say that, you know, they are the lazy ones per se. But the studio interference and stuff like that, that is what makes it feel like lazy storytelling and stuff. Yeah. You know, it feels watered down for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Well, the next piece of news that I had was Expendables 4 has the lowest rating, or not lowest rating, but the lowest weekend opening of any movie this year at 8.3 million.
What?
I'm surprised it made that much, to be honest.
You're telling me it didn't make $expendabillion?
$expendabillion. That's great. I didn't even think about that. Well, it made $expendabillion.3 this opening weekend.
I didn't even know that was out.
Yeah. No, they've done no marketing. Nobody knew it was happening. And yeah, it's out, and it will probably be on DVD tomorrow. That's probably what's going to happen. Those 8.3 million people that saw this movie will be the only people that see this movie. That is 100% for sure. Yeah. So lowest opening this year. Try to beat it. Let's try to beat it. That's the goal, to beat. Chris Evans recently stated, he was interviewed. I can't remember who he was interviewed by, but he was interviewed, and he said that he wants to start acting less and wants to spend more time maybe doing something like pottery and smoking weed.
Nice.
So sounds like a good plan.
Yeah. I honestly though, I kind of like the idea of him being like an actor that more so like picks his like roles very like very specifically, you know,
like Daniel Day-Lewis type
yeah,
shit. Yeah.
and he really comes out when he like really feels passionate about a project or a role or something.
Yeah.
Like in Knives Out, for example, and he gives performances and he's attached to movies of that quality and that nature. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I think that this would probably will result in more of that and less of like the gray man. You know?
Yeah. What's it called?
Or Ghosted.
Ghosted, yeah.
Ghosted, yeah, that's a really good one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That might be the worst movie of this year for me.
Yeah, that was pretty
It
bad.
was pretty bad. But we have plans to talk about all that in a later episode.
Yeah.
So
Stay tuned.
stay tuned. We'll
Yeah.
be doing that.
Chris Evans, I hope your pottery and weed career works out for you.
I hope it does. And he just got married.
Yeah.
So
Living his best life,
he is
honestly.
living the
Sounds
best
like it.
life. Yeah. For sure. So good job, Chris. We're proud of you, and we can't wait to see you in whatever you choose to do next.
Yeah.
Soldier Boy.
Yes.
Soldier Boy, tell him he has arrived, and he's gonna be in Gen V. He's confirmed to be in Gen V. We have the first image of him on set of Gen V. I'm very curious as to if this is an actual appearance, if he's going to be actually him, or if they're gonna go the Captain America and Homecoming type stuff, where he does informational videos.
That would be pretty crazy.
That would be hilarious. I think they have to. I think they kind of have to.
Yeah. I mean, but do you think he actually shows up in the flesh?
I honestly
feels like a big character to be like.
To be just a cameo.
To be to be just a cameo, and also to be in this show in general. I was not really expecting this.
Yeah,
at
I
all,
wasn't
you know?
either. Like the Deep makes sense.
Yeah,
But this,
even like basically anybody but like Soldier Boy and Homelander, I feel like makes sense for the show. Like I could see A-Train in the show, you know. I could see the Deep obviously is in the show, and a lot of those like side casts, like heroes and stuff, and
Right.
the Vought like employees and like Ashley and stuff.
Yeah.
But not like Homelander, and really not Soldier Boy, but he's gonna be in it.
it's going to be in it. I really don't know what they're going to do because, you know, obviously, it's obvious that he's not dead, but in the final season, or in the third season, you know, it's shown that he could have died. You know,
I mean, he was basically put under again.
Yeah.
I mean, not basically, he was.
He was put under, yeah.
So it's
I'm willing to bet that this is probably, so,
information.
you're in
Yeah.
detention. You got detention. Yeah, I think this is,
I think it might be, honestly.
yeah. I think that's probably
Because his current state. Are they gonna have like a big plot thing like Soldier Boy being like released again, happen in Gen V? I mean, possibly, but I don't.
That's the thing is big plot points. I mean, that's a Star Wars Marvel thing right there. Is a big plot points happening in another show that a lot of people might not watch.
Yeah.
And then, you know, a lot of, you know, the Boys fans who don't care about Gen V and are just waiting for season 4 might be like, well, whatever. I'm not gonna watch that.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing ever happens in that, and I have to watch it to understand season 4 of The Boys.
Yeah.
That is so annoying.
Yeah.
That to watch a whole show just to understand another season of another show.
Yeah.
I really hope that's not the case.
Yeah.
But I'm, you know, again, interested to see what they actually do.
Yeah. I do feel like it will probably be in a more limited sense, regardless.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Feels like it's more so appropriate for the show.
it
probably,
does. Yeah.
Rather than him being like, I'm the big bad now. or
Yeah,
something,
yeah.
You know?
He's the big bad of Gen V.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, it just had to happen, didn't it? It just had to happen.
No.
The Office is getting a reboot. An Office reboot is in the works. I saw someone comment on a post about it, and they said, you saw how the final seasons did without Michael. Now you're going to do an entire show without Michael. Well, Steve Carell.
Yeah.
Without Steve Carell. This won't be good.
Yeah, no.
I'm saying it right now.
This is going to be bad, actually.
Yeah, I'm saying it right now. This won't be good. In fact, it will be terrible. And it doesn't matter who you get. It doesn't matter who is in the show
It doesn't.
unless you get the entire original cast and you do the exact same show again.
It literally was. It was some. The reason why the American Office worked is the same reason that the British Office didn't work.
Yeah.
It perfectly captures the like dry kind of, office kind of humor, while also kind of pushing it to some dramatized extents, obviously.
Yeah,
and
obviously.
parts for TV and shit. But it's still really phenomenal stuff. Obviously, in the real chunk of that is when Steve Carell's present. Obviously, he's a big force in the show, and him removed from the show, which we did see in the last 2 seasons, was a dip in quality, a pretty steep decline in quality, some would say.
Yeah.
And I would agree. Probably they definitely feel like they don't know where they're going.
Yeah, it's trying to fill a hole. I mean, it's literally
trying to fill a hole. They literally have to. You know? They're literally like, who's the next manager and how,
who's the next boss.
But at the same time, it's also like the story and the like everything itself kind of felt like it didn't really know where it was going. Didn't have any navigation there, and a reboot just sounds. I don't know.
It was kind of like when they announced the Harry Potter reboot. It was like, okay, what are we doing?
Okay,
and this feels like the breaking point of like, stop.
This might be worse than the Harry Potter.
Yeah.
With Harry Potter, I think maybe not for everybody, but at least for me, I was under the like mindset of this is happening eventually. No matter what, another Harry Potter is going to happen. It is that big. It's going to be redone at some point. The Office, I was not. I was not.
Yeah,
and it will not work now. I can just I'm imagining it. I'm probably gonna hate watch it when it comes out. But
no way, you're gonna hate watch it.
I probably will. I'll probably, or at least see some clips of how bad it is and stuff.
Yeah,
because it's gonna be bad. Like the humor's not gonna be there. It's not gonna be. It's not gonna be the same.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. They were making in like 2009, which is like in the middle years of the show, they were making like planking jokes where they were like planking and stuff, and they were doing parkour.
It was very much of the time. Like it was very much cemented in those years that it was coming out and stuff for sure.
And what's kind of funny about that is that when those were happening, a lot of younger people were the ones that started doing it and were doing it.
Yeah.
And so it's funny because they're older people that were doing these things that they saw on the internet. I swear to God, if I see grown men doing TikTok dances in the office and they're like dancing. It's what it's going to be.
Yeah.
It will be that. It will be that. Yeah. It's, why are we doing this? Why is this happening? I think the person that first came up with this thought and brought it to somebody who could make it happen, I think that person should be imprisoned for life. This is not, they should have their title of writer and business exec stripped.
This is just awful, man. You don't make like these like long running like shows that people like kind of like or at least decently liked by a lot of people and stuff. You don't make these stupid reboots of and these stupid like sequels of like the what is it, the How I Met Your Father stuff that came out or whatever. And now the Office I feel like every like big show has to have like, oh, there's another.
Yeah.
There's
the iCarly.
Big Bang Theory, freaking they got the
Young
Sheldon, yeah.
That was more because it ended in 2016.
I will say that one was a little bit like ahead of the curve.
It was,
sure.
yeah. And it's a focus on a character that all the moms love, which is Sheldon. I don't know how. I don't know why, but they do. And it was ahead of the time, but it's not exempt because it is still a spin-off of a popular show.
And it's like, why?
Yeah, why are we?
I mean, we
this?
obviously know why, money, but
we know why, but we are asking why still.
Yeah,
you know?
it's like we don't need it.
Yeah,
you know?
we know why they're doing it, but as a human being, do you feel good about this? Why are you doing this?
Yeah. Maybe make something new.
Yeah.
Some new content. Please.
Yeah, please. Maybe now that you've paid your writers, ask them to write something new.
Yeah. Not a the reboot of this show that everyone loves, or the spin-off of this show that everyone likes. No, make a new show that everyone likes.
Yeah. Please. I'd love a new show. And that's not to be like and again, that's there's
there are good new shows.
Yeah, I hate saying that because then it sounds like all the people that we make fun of, which is like there's no new stuff out there.
Oh yeah.
Yes, there is.
Yeah, there's plenty of new stuff out there, but these people specifically who are focused on reboot after sequel after spin-off, it's like,
please stop.
Who are you? Who are you making this for?
Yeah.
Nobody wants this.
Yeah, I don't want a reboot of The Office. I want another show that's just as good as The Office.
Yeah.
That's no one wants a redo of something good. We want more of some. We want. I don't know.
Yeah.
I hate it. Anyways,
I don't know, man.
Speaking of sequels, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 3.
Okay.
Oh hell yeah! Officially titled Planet of the Grapes.
Okay.
I am a very big fan of the first film. I've only seen the second film twice, but the first film I've seen a number of times.
I don't think I've seen the second one, but I do really like the first one.
The second one is very it's very it's whatever. But the first one is a classic, I think. And the third one, I didn't expect them to make a third one. The second one came out, I genuinely think almost 10 years ago.
Dang.
I think it may be more than that. It might have come out more than 10 years ago, but it's been a while. Yeah, so they're making a third one, officially confirmed Planet of the Grapes titled. That means we got Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 3 and Kung Fu Panda 4 coming out. I don't know if it'll come out next year, but those are two very big animated movies to look forward to, that's for sure.
So I know we just went on this big rant about sequels and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But the only current really exemption of like those sequels and stuff that aren't the same really is these like sequel to like animated movies that are like classics or just like really good and stuff, and the obvious wave that Into the Spider-Verse has crashed into animation, and the we're obviously now getting the like ripple effects, a lot of it with Puss in Boots and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and obviously Across the Spider-Verse, kind of resurging that wave again.
Yeah, even harder.
Like, and obviously we now are kind of just with excitement for a possible Kung Fu Panda 4 with that same with that same kind of revitalization, and also now Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 3 with that same, hopefully with that
Sony
same
Animation
revitalization. Oh my gosh, yeah.
Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, Sony.
That, and I can remember the first one. The first one had really good animation.
It's very stylized,
I can just imagine where they could go with this, if they really try to lean into this wave that animation's riding right now,
Yeah.
And I hope they keep riding it too, because
it's so good. So many good animated movies in the past year.
Oh yeah, and there's more to look forward to and stuff.
Yeah.
Kung Fu Panda 4 is going to be big, bro.
Well, it will. It's I think it's possible it could make as much as Spider-Verse did, which I think was almost Spider-Verse made like
Across the Spider-Verse.
Across Spider-Verse.
I think high 800.
Yeah,
I think so.
Which is high for an animated film.
Yeah,
I mean Mario made $1 billion, but that's because it's Mario.
Yeah,
but this made as just an animated film in general made it a good ass amount of money.
Yeah,
and so it's very possible that Kung Fu Panda gets those same levels.
That same level, yeah.
I think it's very possible.
It's obviously good for the whole animation,
Yeah.
And them bringing in those big bucks obviously gives them the respect and stuff that they've been not receiving in the recent years and
Right.
stuff, you know?
Right.
Or really ever, I guess.
Yeah. Well, that's all the news that I had this week.
Okay.
The movies, games, and TV news.
Well, I can take it over a little.
Take it away.
So we got some confirmation that Smile 2, the sequel to a
Oh, you smile, yeah.
previous pretty popular horror movie, or at least it was at the time, I think.
Yeah.
Kind of rode that kind of like Megan kind of wave, or it was like a trend for
a month.
Yeah, and then it was like, okay.
Did you watch Smile?
I actually did. It was kind of before I was reviewing movies and everything, so I didn't get it reviewed or anything.
Yeah, I watched it in theaters, and then I watched it I don't know if I talked about it on here or not, but I watched it recently and reviewed it. I really liked it the first time, and I really was very neutral on it the second time. It's very much baseline kind of horror.
Yeah.
It's the ideas that it kind of shows off it in the end, very interesting, horrifying stuff. There's a meme going around right now of the woman tearing her face off. There's a meme going around about that. Oh, of that scene.
Yeah.
And that scene added to the rest of the movie with that idea could have been a very haunting film.
Yeah.
But it's just very baseline and very, very bland for the most part, until the very end, which is the end is very interesting and kind of horrifying. But I mean, as long as Smile 2...
And this is next year, by the way. Halloween time next year.
Okay. As long as Smile 2 kind of builds off these themes and makes it, dive into this creepy-ass creature that we've seen, you know? Don't you know, the smile thing is it's so funny and goofy looking.
Yeah.
The whole smile.
Yeah,
I'm not creeped out. I'm laughing. Yeah. They try to crunch their face out trying to smile.
They're like Jim Carrey kind of.
Yeah, the Grinch smile. It's very goofy. It's not menacing. And so at least follow through with these crazy, wild, haunting ideas they gave into the end. So
yeah, a lot of people said they liked how it dealt with trauma and stuff like that in the story, but I don't know. Looking back on it, it felt kind of basic to me. It wasn't anything too crazy. And the only part that really stood out to me was that ending kind of scene of being kind of something. That's how the whole movie should have kind of felt like, you know, that kind of scary feeling and stuff that it had at the end.
I didn't get a sense of trauma. I don't know, what trauma.
The whole smile demon thing goes through goes through trauma or traumatic events or whatever.
Yeah. Okay, I remember now because the whole story's based, or not the story, but our main character, her whole thing is that, you know, she watched her mom die or whatever.
Yeah. Yep.
I honestly didn't get that she was traumatized throughout the whole movie about that. I found that she was possessed by this creature that she didn't know about, and she was trying to get rid of it. That's what it didn't give me trauma.
Yeah.
I feel every time it brought it up, it wasn't no, you're talking about my mom who died. It felt get out of my head. You're a you're a thing, a possession, a demon. You know, get out of me, please.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't really get that trauma thing.
But Smile 2, another sequel.
We'll see.
To look forward to or not.
Yeah.
Guess a little side news for the Halloween kind of spooky season this year. October 25th specifically. Ari Aster's Midsummer is going to be returning to specific AMC US theaters.
Nice.
For the Halloween season. And it's a director's cut as well.
Oh.
So I didn't know there was a director's cut.
So more footage.
So yeah, possibly a longer cut of Midsummer. And it was already a decently long movie.
2 hours, 18 minutes, something like that. Yeah.
So that'll be pretty interesting.
Crazy.
To see. I saw.
Gotta wear my bear costume.
Yeah, gotta celebrate.
Yeah.
I saw this Letterbox post this new trailer on their Twitter, or their X, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And it's this film. It's for this film called Fingernails, starring Jesse Buckley, Riz Ahmed, and Jeremy Allen White from The Bear.
Mm-hmm.
And it releases November 3rd. And it, I just want to talk about it because it looked like a cool, little love triangle kind of romance movie, but like in a handled in a more like mature and like well written kind of way, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
And just thought it looked pretty interesting, and
Nice.
thought I should mention it. Comes out November 3rd, and it's a Apple TV original. So
Okay.
I think they said that it's going to be in theaters, but obviously most people are probably going to just watch it
Watch on Apple TV.
streaming. So
Yeah. And Riz Ahmed is, I love Riz Ahmed.
Yeah,
Have you seen Sound of Metal?
I have not seen Sound of Metal yet. No,
That's one of my favorite movies.
he's definitely a really good actor, man.
He's so good, and that is without question is his best performance.
Yeah,
It's kind of crazy to watch a movie like Sound of Metal and then remember that he was the villain in Venom. It's kind of crazy to think about that. But yeah, you gotta watch Sound of Metal.
Yeah, I gotta watch that one.
It'll get you.
And okay, so kind of bigger news, I guess. Rick and Morty has been teasing.
Oh my god, yeah.
They've been teasing their new season 7. And famously, Justin Roiland has been dropped from the show because of his dealio with domestic abuse or all that stuff.
Yep. Who could have seen it coming? The guy that drinks for his job.
So they replaced him, and they revealed the voices for Rick and Morty, and they sound the exact same.
Okay, well, all right. So Morty sounds great. I think Morty sounds fine.
Yeah.
Something's off about Rick.
I did feel that though. Like Rick felt like almost everything felt the exact same, besides like one little thing in the back of my head going, "This is wrong.
Yeah,
there's something wrong about that."
Yeah,
you know.
Even the way Rick was acting in the trailer, like the moments that they showed off, didn't feel like Rick. You know, it felt more like a parody of Rick, kind of, but like a parody and like. I don't know. He was nicer. He was a much nicer character.
Oh no, not the heroification of Rick. Don't tell me that Justin Roiland leaves the show and they make Rick like a good
person.
Like they were basically modeling after whoever's voicing him.
Oh yeah, that's hilarious.
So Roiland's voicing him. He's the worst person in the world, and now he's like gonna be a hero.
Yeah, now he's the Luke Skywalker.
I hope not, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that a whole big thing of season 7 is they hunting down an eviler version of Rick Prime, right?
Yeah,
that's a big thing in season 7. But this honestly season more than any season should definitely make it a point that Rick is not a good guy, despite this eviler version of him existing and multiple eviler versions of him existing. He is not a good guy in himself, you know. And that's kind of something that at least the good seasons of Rick and Morty heavily conveyed on. You know, they definitely showed like, yeah, this guy is like a really bad person,
terrible
and everything,
person,
you know?
yeah.
And I really hope they don't cut back on that. But obviously the later seasons, I don't know if you've seen the later seasons of Rick and Morty, but they are.
I have seen every season except 6, so
I don't know. I felt like the first like 3 were pretty good, and then 4 through like 6 kind of was like, I don't know.
3 is great. 3's great.
Yeah, 3.
season.
Yeah, I honestly love 1 through 3. Honestly,
yeah, I do too.
Like it was a strong show.
Yeah.
Now I don't.
I honestly didn't hate 4 and 5, but they were clearly weaker.
Yeah. That's kind of how I feel.
But they were. I mean, it was enough for me to be like, yeah, I don't really care about this anymore.
It definitely felt worse. You know? Definitely felt like a shift.
Yeah.
And
for sure.
I hope that this is not another shift downwards.
Yeah, pray.
A shift up might be really needed for the show, honestly.
Yeah, but yeah, it's a noticeable difference. And
people are already saying though that it's getting in the realm of like, Okay, Adult Swim show. You were funny for a couple seasons, but when are you gonna end?
Yeah, when is it over?
You know,
Yeah.
it's probably not. It's probably
It
not.
probably won't. It's Rick and Morty. It's like it's the most famous thing that they've ever done and ever will do.
Yeah,
It's not going away.
yeah,
Hate to admit it, but it's not going away.
that's for sure. And then the last bit of like movie news I had, specifically the movie news, is Martin Scorsese. He said a couple things throughout the past couple days, but the main thing that I think I wanted to share was he says that he thinks that he only has one or maybe two more films left in him after Killers of the Flower Moon, and his next film obviously coming out.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, he said, if I could just muster up the energy, God willing, to make a couple more, one more maybe, that's it. Okay, that's as far as I got. And, yeah, so him kind of recognizing the mortality and stuff of his age and you know, coming upon him and everything, and a big, obviously, a big monument and in film and stuff like that, you know.
Yeah.
So definitely thought that was something to share. And he also made several other comments about his kind of what gets roped into his kind of current like superhero genre kind of bashing or whatever. Although I don't know, I don't think this round necessarily came off that hard against the films themselves, because he specifically kind of said this time that the like films have like good artists and directors and hardworking people behind them and stuff, but just that the studio, mainly that the studios themselves make these projects feel almost artificially made, and that's not too far off of kind of how I feel like a lot of people feel about about the things, that there are these hardworking people and stuff, and that these studios definitely have this interference that is not needed or wanted really at all.
Yeah.
And the part that's obviously too far is like when you start to like consider like the movies and stuff like not art or like not film, you know,
right?
They're beneath, you know, and I'm kind of glad that this round it specifically kind of felt like he specifically wasn't trying to make his, you know, make his words seem that way, at least. And I thought that was pretty nice, at least. And
yeah, that's good.
Yeah, it was just thought I'd share Scorsese's round of dialogue with all that.
I will never agree that with saying that any movie in general, to be honest, is not art.
Yeah.
Like, but especially superhero films. I think it's so ignorant to say that, you know, superhero movies are art simply because they're just fun for the moment, you know. They're not telling, you know, Disney made them, so they're not art. You know, they feel artificially made. I think that's a fair statement to say about more recent movies, you know, artificially made. I think that's fair to say about more recent, you know, specifically like Marvel and obviously Marvel and DC, like, you know, Flash and stuff. It all feels artificially made for the most part. But I don't know, to say like, because he made these almost the exact same statement except a little worse. Yeah. When they were considered to be really good, you know, when Endgame was coming out and stuff. So this isn't like he's just now saying it about like Thor: Love and Thunder, you know. This was being said around Infinity War and Endgame. True. And you know, and it's so I just don't agree with that aspect of it. But he is, I think he is correct in saying that there are always hardworking people around these movies, but these studios make them feel artificially made. Yeah, I think that's fair to say about more recent times. But just saying that they're not art at all is, and like they're roller coaster films. Yeah, I don't agree with that at all. Yeah. So, but yeah, and what he says he's got one more in him. I mean, he's made so many movies in these last. I mean, this one and then Irishman which I think was the one before it,
Yeah.
are both almost 4 hours long. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, sure, one more.
Yeah.
Give it all you can.
For sure.
Well, all right. And then I only had one piece of comic book movie news this week.
Okay.
Apparently, Wolverine. So, obviously, Wolverine is going to be in Deadpool 3. Obviously,
Yeah.
It is confirmed it is confirmed that several Wolverine variants will appear in Deadpool 3, and one of them will be the MCU's Wolverine. So we're banking. We're kind of in that
Interesting.
we're kind of in that game now of who is it? Is it Daniel Radcliffe? Is it the two rumored ones to appear, Daniel Radcliffe and Taron Egerton?
I wonder if he's gonna is he gonna get picked out of the MCU or is he going to get brought into the MCU?
I bet he gets picked out. I bet it's like they pick him out and they go, "Oh, what universe are you from?" And he goes, "The MCU." And it's like, "Well, how does that work?" And he's like, "You'll find out," or something.
Yeah.
And I think, but I'm honestly willing to bet that they don't even know who they're gonna do yet. I'm willing to bet that they're gonna use this as an opportunity to show off bunch of different variants of Wolverine, and then the audience, the fans, are gonna go, "He was great. He's the best one. I hope he's the MCU's Wolverine." And they go, "He's the MCU's Wolverine." I bet I bet this is their game right now, is
Maybe.
to do all the fan casts plus ones that they think that they want themselves. They're gonna let the audience decide who is the Wolverine based on because they said Taron Egerton and stuff are gonna be in it, and I think they're gonna let us decide if we were right or not. Basically, is like, oh, does he actually fit or does he not? Because John Krasinski, a lot of people still think that he is the best choice for Mr. Fantastic, but they are going with someone else still.
Yeah.
So I wonder if they're realizing that Hugh Jackman is a little bit different. He's this Wolverine is this character that's been played by one guy for 20 years.
Yeah.
I think they are seeing we need to let the people who love him so much decide who is worthy enough to take that place.
Yeah.
Obviously, don't leave everything to the fans every time.
Yeah.
But I think there should be studio decision behind this. But obviously, it is good to have that fan feedback. Oh, we see a bunch of different versions of Wolverine in this, and we go, well, he was almost as good as Hugh Jackman. I think he should be the MCU's Wolverine. And they go, well, we like him too. That's going to be the new MCU's Wolverine. So I think that's the game that they're kind of playing right now.
Okay.
But we'll see. Bunch of different variants are said to appear, including fan casts.
Yeah.
It's very exciting.
Yeah, and not just Wolverine. There's multiple different X-Men and stuff that are rumored to be in there, and mutants in general. I know Magneto, I think, is the main.
Yeah, he's said to be like the main villain or something
right now, I think. Yeah.
I don't know about that. I don't know how well that would work, making Magneto the villain of yet another X-Men movie.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Yeah.
I mean, if this is a farewell to the it is a farewell to the 20th Century Fox universe of X-Men characters and Fantastic Four characters, obviously too. I think this is. I think it's okay to make Magneto the villain one more time.
Yeah.
As long as the MCU kind of makes him we know he was the villain for 20 years, but we'll still use him as a villain, but we'll focus on somebody else.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No, just Magneto.
Just Magneto. Yeah, he's the only person that can be a villain.
So, I only had 3 bits of comic book news here. I'll start off with the first one, which is technically comic book and also video game related. Yuri Lowenthal, he recently said that he wants to keep playing Spider-Man forever.
Yeah.
For as long as they'll let him keep playing Spider-Man, and as long as his voice suits the role and stuff, he said that he wants to keep voicing him. And
I think he should.
I thought that was pretty awesome.
After replaying the game, I
also saw this new HD face shot that they released from
God.
Look at the resolution, man.
Wow, that looks real.
So crazy.
It's a real person right there.
Yeah, that is That's the power. That's the power
Wow.
of the
PS
next generation and PS5.
I played the PS4 Spider-Man on my brand new PS5.
Yeah.
I played it again, and I upgraded obviously the game, so it's PS5 version, which has the new face model.
Yeah, the new face model.
And I'm not gonna lie, I don't hate it. I think he's actually. I think still images kind of look off. I think still images and going, that's Spider-Man, that's Peter Parker. It kind of feels like he looks like he's too young to be a 28-year-old man.
Yeah.
But he looks like he's 12.
Yeah.
But in motion, in action, it works really well.
I think this though.
But this
he looks
still specifically.
I think everyone agrees that this is an improvement. Like this is a huge improvement.
Yeah, the fact that I had no issue with him like in motion, but like it was still images that I had problems with, and now still image.
Yeah.
And he looks fantastic.
And there was even a better shot where he was like putting on the mask, and his eyes just look so like determined and stuff. Looking very nice, man. And the hair.
Somebody definitely died in this scene, and he is about,
that's what it looks like.
He's about to fuck Venom up or Kraven or whoever. I can't wait.
Definitely looks like an emotional scene.
Yeah. I was thinking about that. I was thinking, somebody, it's a Spider-Man story. Somebody's got to die. I'm willing to bet it's probably Harry for this game.
Yeah.
But that
makes
leaves
the most sense at least.
Yeah, but that leaves the question of for the third game. Are they going to go like the actual like Ultimate Spider-Man Miles Morales comic book route into the Spider-Verse route where Peter dies?
Yeah, Peter dies.
But that is also like, well, then when the game's over, the gameplay's over, you can't play as Peter anymore or something?
I imagine, yeah. You switch over to Miles.
Like permanently.
Permanently, yeah.
I don't know.
I'd be sad,
That would
bro.
be really sad. That would be really sad. But that doesn't mean Yuri Lowenthal can't stop playing him. He can play him in anything animated.
Yeah.
He could play him in real life. I don't even care.
Yeah.
It doesn't even matter to me.
I mean, he could definitely still voice him in the next like big animated show for Spider-Man or animated anything really.
Yeah.
And or like you said, live action. I mean, he could easily play a older live action.
Yeah.
Peter Parker. There's no reason he can't.
It's very possible. Yeah.
And that can obviously be used in the current multiverse storytelling and everything.
Right.
Honestly, that would be kind of a really good way to do like maybe Insomniac Spidey in like Secret Wars or something like that with like it's Yuri Lowenthal,
Yeah.
It's obviously not, it wouldn't be like 1-to-1 like to the age wise.
But it would be him.
But it would it'd be him and maybe even the same suit,
Yeah.
So it would be that's Insomniac Spidey. It's Yuri Lowenthal. That might as well be him,
Right.
And that'd be awesome.
That would be really tight.
Cool. But no, I'm definitely down for Yuri to keep voicing him.
Yeah.
For sure. We got some information about Echo and about Wonder Man. So Echo will reportedly have 5 episodes that will each be around an hour long.
Okay.
Okay, so pushing for longer run times. The 5 episodes is kind of
Yeah.
Hour-long episodes kind of maybe bounces out,
But at the same time, did you want 8 episodes for Echo?
Yeah, that's true.
It is kind of, 5 episodes, the new Daredevil show. Oh.
Yeah.
But this is like, okay, well, that's fine.
And, 5 episodes for Echo, each an hour long. That'd be good.
Yeah.
And the Wonder Man series is it is about a superhero trying to make it in Hollywood. The series is a lot like She-Hulk, Attorney at Law.
Okay.
It's a just straight comedy, and it is 9 to 10 episodes at about half an hour each. And there are a lot of cameos, apparently.
So it's just She-Hulk.
Yeah.
A lot of people are going to read that line of like, it's like She-Hulk, and then they're going to go, I'm not watching this.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to say it's like She-Hulk in that it's like more like, there can be, anyone can kind of show up and stuff. But every time, I'm not even joking, and this isn't even like I think Marvel comedy is like the worst thing ever. It's the fact that everybody thinks that that's like everybody that works on Marvel stuff, they think it's very new and inventive to have superhero comedies.
Yeah.
It's so annoying. This is a new take. It's like She-Hulk. It's a comedy and it has cameos. It's like, that's She-Hulk. That's all She-Hulk is. And then it's like the director for the Marvels being like, we're taking a new approach at this movie. It's going to be goofy, silly comedy. And I'm like, that's all of the movies. That's all of them. It's like, I have no serious issue with them being comedic. It's the fact that
Yeah.
you are saying that it's like this new thing. It's not. It's the baseline. If anything, it's at this point making a superhero movie is the baseline of comedy.
Yeah.
Which is it shouldn't be. I think every movie ever should have humor at least, you know. But it doesn't. I don't know. It's so like, yeah, it's a comedy. Stop making things purely a comedy.
Yeah. Definitely agree.
It doesn't need to be a comedy. It can be a slice of life where there is comedy and sadness. You know, it's like, come on. Yeah, but anyways.
But yeah, that's my
that's the comic book news.
Yeah, that's my comic book movie news.
All right. Well, Ahsoka. Did you watched episode 5 and 6?
Yeah. Got them
All
both.
right. So thoughts on 5?
It was pretty good. I actually I don't know. I've been thinking that the most recent, I kind of said it earlier, but the most recent episodes of Ahsoka have kind of been increasing in quality for me. I've been finding myself enjoying a lot of the moments more, the characters and stuff more.
Right.
Episode 5 in particular, we got a bigger look at the villains and stuff like that, which was really awesome. And also the like half Anakin kind of backstory and everything like that, and the Clone Wars stuff, all that was all really well done and well told, and seamlessly kind of flowed into like the finding like Thrawn and Ezra and all that stuff, and that was pretty nice. And Thrawn himself is pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty I do get the sense of like the intimidating kind of an intellect and stuff like that, and that's definitely like he definitely feels like a fresh kind of Star Wars villain to me, at least. And he's like, yeah, let me find out more about Ahsoka's past, and use it against her. I want to know her weaknesses and everything. And then he's also working with like the Night Sisters and everything, and that's pretty cool. And his main goal is literally getting back to the galaxy that they were all just left, obviously. Yeah.
I love that episode 6. Ahsoka's not even in the episode for other than like the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And I love that the beginning of the episode is just and that scene ends with a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. I was like, that's the first time they've ever said it.
Yeah.
I was like, that was awesome.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was really cool.
So cool.
That was something that definitely wasn't expecting that, but I didn't know actually. I saw a clip recently of I think it was like a Star Wars event. I think it was back when Kenobi went on, when Hayden got all that love, when he was saying like
this is where the fun begins.
Yeah, this is where the fun begins. Yeah. Everyone freaked out. I think it was back then. Dave Filoni, the guy like kind of overseeing the show and overseeing a lot of Clone Wars and stuff, Rebels, all that. He actually was asked, "Where's Ezra? Where's Ezra, Dave?" And he went, "He is far, far away."
Oh.
And I didn't. It's kind of connected, obviously, because the episode's far, far away, and he is far, far away. You know. And
the episode is titled "Far, Far Away."
Yeah,
that's great.
And that is cool that they reference that like piece of Star Wars that has never been referenced. Obviously, it's really just in the title sequence. Yeah, in a galaxy a long time ago, far, far away. That's like the only time it's ever referenced or like even talked about. You know, that's the thing about
within Star Wars.
That's the thing about Star Wars is that they don't really. There is world building, but they don't like world build on like. Maybe like the specific like questions and stuff that people like would like commonly want to know. Yeah. Like, okay, this is in a different galaxy. What's the nearest galaxy to it? Right. How many planets and galaxies do they often travel to and know of? Like, how big is this like inner galaxy kind of communication and stuff, you know? Right. How big does this empire span? Yeah. And they don't really expand upon it. They mostly just, like, a lot of the people will mostly just act like, you know, just normal people. They're going about their everyday, like, alien or human, whatever life and stuff, and they just kind of act like there is no broader galaxy.
Yeah.
Almost, or galaxies, I should say.
Right.
Or universe in general.
Right.
It does feel like the Star Wars story has mostly been contained in this galaxy that they're in. And I really, really love the aspect of leaving that and obviously going and finding Ezra and Thrawn at these later locations and stuff. It does give something new in a series that I wasn't really expecting to get, like, brand new kind of feelings from, like going to a different place in Star Wars that felt really, really cool.
Yeah.
And but the episodes were they were really good.
Yeah.
I honestly thought both of them were really nice and
Very powerful.
pretty strong episodes. Yeah.
The Anakin stuff.
They've really been building, honestly. It feels like they started off wobbly and stuff, and they had to get their footing, but it feels like they might have found their footing, and I really hope they keep pushing that for how long is this? 8 episodes?
8 episodes, yeah.
8 episodes. So yeah, I hope they keep pushing that, and obviously really need a strong finale. I think that's what everyone's hoping for right now.
We're at episode 6, right? Yeah. So we only have 2 more episodes. Kind of a lot to do.
Yeah, there is kind of a lot to do. Which that is a trend with Disney Plus shows, I feel like, with like even like we could go next episode and still have a lot to like do.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing is
like Marvel and Star Wars. I feel like there's a lot of shows where it felt that way, where it was like, dang, they kind of put a lot to do in this whole one episode.
Yeah.
Maybe should have made that second to last episode a little longer.
Yeah. Maybe you shouldn't have made the first 3 episodes a conclusion to Rebels.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And just instead fleshed out this story.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. I thought it was a very good episode, too. Yeah. I think Thrawn is very interesting so far. Lars Mikkelsen, who is the original voice actor in Rebels for him. And also, I didn't realize was Mads Mikkelsen's brother.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, that's another guy with Mikkelsen. I was like, how many are there? I don't know. But, I didn't realize they were brothers. But he's great so far.
Yeah, he is.
And I recently learned that he was designed to be, Thrawn was designed to be almost human, to look almost human. But there's like things about him, like his eyebrows, the bone structure in his eyebrows and his face is longer and stuff. Yeah. So he like looks like he could be human, but he's like almost not.
Yeah.
Which is like the thing. It's like to show that there's always something off about him.
Yeah.
I'd say that Lars Mikkelsen looks pretty almost human. So. Yeah. But yeah, it's going pretty good so far. We're almost done with it. And Ezra. Space accurate depiction of space Jesus.
Yes.
Ezra's pretty good, pretty entertaining character so far. Him and Sabine's chemistry is fairly nice so far.
Bro's got eyes that will stare through your soul.
Yeah, he's got them piercing blue eyes. Yeah,
motherfuckers with blue eyes be like,
they can see inside you.
You said, "Hey, I'm Ezra."
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a while.
It's been yeah, but we'll see these final 2 episodes, how they go.
Yeah. Definitely going to be interesting.
Yeah, for sure. And then Loki starts.
Can't wait for Loki, man.
And we'll be eating that up.
Oh, that'll be scrumdiddlyumptious.
Yeah, that will in fact be scrumdiddlyumptious.
And we'll also does Invincible come out week by week as well?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we'll get Invincible in there too.
We'll have some stuff that we'll be talking about for sure.
Nice.
Well, we can before we get into our what we watch, we can hop into a little game.
Okay.
So, I thought it'd be fun to do kind of a tournament, and I don't know if this will work exactly how I'd like it to, but that's fine. Okay. None of this matters anyways. So, I thought we'd just do a tournament. We name off. We have 10 movies starting out, and we name one to go against another.
Yeah.
And we just get to one movie that we can kind of go, this is the best movie we've ever seen, even if it's not. You know, it has to be because that's what we put it at.
Yeah.
All right. So, I personally, I went ahead and just grabbed all of my favorites, and I'll just pick and choose. So I'm
Okay.
going to go through, and then whatever you have, you can say.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so we can go and start.
Okay, I'll start it off with La La Land.
Okay. All right, so to pit against La La Land, gotta get a good one. I'm going to go Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump. Oof.
All right, so which one of these movies do you think off the bat is probably you probably like more?
I think I probably like La La Land more.
Okay.
I am a huge fan of Forrest Gump, though. I am a big fan of Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
It's a great, really good film. Maybe Tom Hanks' best role.
I think it's probably his best role for sure.
And he's like, I mean, he has a decent amount of good roles, you know. But
Yeah.
Forrest is like, yeah, come on.
It's like yeah.
And like the story is really good, really sound.
I love it so much because it's like it's about this guy who is constantly undermined and underestimated his entire life,
Taking advantage
and yet
of and stuff.
and he has no ego. He does things because he just wants to do them, and he's good at everything, and he lives a life that no one will ever really live. You know, it's like an impossibly incredible life that hardly anyone will ever be able to live, and he is undermined, called stupid the entire time.
Yeah. But he does stuff that, you know, he loves, and he makes, you know, he makes decisions, I think, that emotionally kind of strike an audience, you know, like running back into like the forest in Vietnam to get all those people back, you know. It's like, this dude's a hero, you know.
He is. He doesn't even know.
And it's all under the guise of, you know, he's looking for it's not even under the guise, it's genuinely he's just looking for Bubba.
Yeah.
You know, he's looking for Bubba, but he's not going to just leave this, you know, he heard this guy calling out, so he's going to bring him back, obviously. It's not like, to him, it's not him being like a hero, you know?
Yeah,
it's just this guy, this guy's here, I gotta, he wants help, I gotta save him, you know?
Yeah.
And that's how it is. And
that's his thought process.
it's so simple, you know?
Yeah.
So simple, but it's so emotionally, like, affecting, I think, to the audience and stuff, really. And obviously, like, the life's like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. And stuff. Yeah. It is really a good movie about life in general. Forrest Gump is. I think about like not only seizing the moment in life and like making the most out of it, as Forrest clearly does. You know, he's in multiple like big like historical moments and stuff. He met presidents and stuff. You know? He definitely you know, made the fullest and stuff out of his life, while also, you know, taking care and checking in on the ones that you love and stuff like that, and always, you know, just being a good person, kind of.
Yeah.
You know, doing your own thing and just being a good person.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's a simple but good story.
Yeah.
About just being a good person and seeing a nice guy. And La La Land, on the flip side, to me is probably my favorite musical.
Yeah, easily mine
to ever release. I mean, I'm in love with everything that Damien Chazelle puts out. It feels like.
Yeah.
But La La Land, I think it hits on a different level because of the gravity of the performances by the two leads, obviously, Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone, but also the way that the film is like so eloquently captured in the aspect of like how love feels and how love like looks.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting. Obviously, I know that I think the biggest talked about thing about La La Land is its finale. It's that final scene.
Yeah.
You know, in Seb's,
Yeah.
and it's definitely like a very like cultivate. I mean, Damien Chazelle's endings in general are, you know, that's a big thing for him. It is that big ending. But La La Land, I think, has the greatest of those because it emotionally resolves the characters.
Mm-hmm.
And then also in a very deeply like saddening way for the audience, obviously.
Yeah.
But in a realistic and also it is sad, but it's not, because at the same time these two people are pursuing their dreams, but it feels like that they had to basically sacrifice their love for each other to pursue their dreams, you know? And that's what the real, you know, that's what the real cost is at the end of the day, is that these two people who were probably meant for each other didn't get to be together because of their, you know, their unfortunate circumstances, and, you know, having to choose their art and their love for their art and passion for that over their, you know, the person they love.
Yeah.
And it is a sad story, and the musical numbers are not like cheesy or overdone. They're
powerful.
They're really, yeah, they're powerful, and they add to the vibe and the feeling of the film in general. And
they're only used when necessary too.
Yes.
You know, the observatory scene isn't like them singing about how they're in love.
Yeah.
It's just a dance to an instrumental music through
nice instrumental
visual. You know?
Through nice visuals and stuff. It's it's not overbearing or anything. It's very nice, and I don't know. I'd probably give it to. I think I'd give it to La La Land a little.
Okay.
bit.
I think Forrest Gump is personally I think Forrest Gump it hits a mark for me that I didn't realize it.
Yeah.
I needed to hit, you know.
Yeah.
And it's like viewing life through this, like, in this childlike way of like not really understanding how anything works or really caring how anything works, and still being successful and humble.
Yeah.
And you know, he's humble, but he also doesn't realize how successful he is.
Yeah.
They literally say, you know, "Oh, we were sitting on the bench next to a millionaire."
Yeah.
And he's like, I guess."
Yeah.
And he takes the bus. He was going to take the bus to Jenny's house instead of, you know, somebody flying him, or, you know, he just doesn't care, you know. He's going to go do something he wants to do. Doesn't really matter what, you know, his status.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I just love that it's a story about being like undermined and all your life, and even in the moment being underestimated and overlooked.
Yeah.
And still being, you know, have lived life more than somebody else that is like talking to you, and you're like, but even you don't like, really understand or care, you know.
Yeah.
But damn, I think both of these are pretty good movies.
I honestly could probably give the edge out to Forrest Gump, because I also do have a colossal respect for the movie and stuff, and it is probably. It is probably like a 9.5, 10 out of 10 for me, you know.
Yeah.
So
Is La La Land a 10 for you, or 9.5?
It's like 9.5, 10. It's like right on. It is I put it as my number 10, so it's like very strong 9.5, almost a 10. I probably viewed Forrest Gump and them in the same like kind of area. So I'm down to give it to Forrest Gump. It's I think an amazing movie.
It took me a couple watches to make La La Land a 10. Like all these movies,
I can see that.
All these movies are 5 stars for me, like complete, like my favorite movies, you know. And but for Forrest Gump, I watched it once and I was like, this is a 10.
Yeah.
I think the fact that I had to question La La Land at first kind of brings it just that extra, you know, sliver down, but it is still as good, I think. But it could honestly go to either one of these. Yeah,
sure.
I think I'd give it to Forrest Gump though, personally. All right. So Forrest Gump, I guess, is gonna take that one.
Yeah.
It kind of sucks that La La Land is already out, but yeah. All right. How about The Truman Show?
Truman Show. Okay. And for that, I'll give you Pulp Fiction.
Okay, Pulp Fiction. I'm all right. I'm just gonna go. I love Truman Show.
Yeah.
This is a little more difficult because I think La La Land and Forrest Gump were very good contenders. I think of them probably on the same level.
Yeah.
But even though both of these movies, Truman Show and Pulp Fiction, are 10 out of 10s for me, I think there's something about Pulp Fiction that I like better.
Yeah.
The Truman Show is, you know, about living free.
Yeah.
And taking control of your life, and it's a great he grew up. He's lived his entire life a lie. Nothing is real except for the love that he had with that one woman.
Yeah.
That was it, and she was taken away. And I don't know. I really love that it's breaking free of shackles and being lied to your entire life. And it's great, and it's got an incredible ending, incredible visual style, incredible acting all the way through. But I think Pulp Fiction just hits something more. The way that it tells a story in parts that aren't even in chronological order.
Yeah.
And it still tells like a fulfilling, solid story.
Yeah.
Technically two stories.
Yeah.
And I love this movie. I really think that this it's great. It's really hard to describe, honestly, because it's strangely nostalgic. Yet I've only ever seen it a couple of times.
Yeah.
And it was more recently that I first watched it.
Yeah.
But it's still strangely nostalgic. And I mean, even the poster of Uma Thurman,
gosh.
it's like that image is just very nostalgic in itself.
Yeah.
And I just don't know. I don't know if you can really beat it in this comparing.
I think I kind of view that in the same. I love I take deeper like themes and stuff behind the Truman Show. I think it has Pulp Fiction beat in terms of like having deeper themes in the story and stuff like that, and having like a message to say about like society or about like to someone specifically, to a person. Pulp Fiction though is more so a story that it feels more accessible for a wider audience because of the crime, because of the murder, because of the the intense gunfire scenes and
the large cast.
Who's gonna shoot? Yeah, and the incredible cast for sure. It's in my opinion, it's definitely Tarantino, probably at his finest.
Yeah,
and he has some really good movies.
Oh
yeah. A lot of his movies are at least pretty good, and Pulp Fiction I think stands atop for a reason.
Yeah.
In his catalog, and Truman Show though definitely not to be trifled with either. Jim Carrey's best performance I think by a mile probably, and another film that has a good like feel to it.
Yeah,
a very artificially kind of made feel, but in a like purposeful way. Into the story, not in like a modern sense of
not like studios taking control of something.
More so like that's how the movie's like supposed to feel, and like like you're being watched and stuff like that. It has that feeling, almost to a comedic sense in some points of the movie.
Obviously, because Jim Carrey.
And it definitely works in those ways. But the obviously how you said the finale, man, that final scene is an iconic one in film, to say the least.
He walking up those stairs.
Oh yeah,
yeah. It's when he's driving in the circle. And he's waiting for the traffic to go. Yeah, that's a great scene. But this movie is Truman Show is definitely a very heartwarming like film about a guy who didn't really get to grow up truthfully. He was given to this corporation to be watched his entire life.
Yeah,
I mean that's not a life. That's not really living. When everything's scripted, it's not really.
It also speaks on like the importance that people put on like the value of that we as a society and stuff put in entertainment and like and specifically TV entertainment, having a camera in someone's face, and Truman Show is obviously the most dramatized version of that. They literally build an entire replica city for this one guy, to make the most authentic show and stuff. Yeah. It's obviously dramatized, but that's the point of movies, is to dramatize real, real things, real themes, real problems. And the
real
Truman
feelings
Show,
and
Truman Show obviously highlights a very like good, it highlights a very bad, how do you say it? A very bad like highlights a very bad situation and stuff that has kind of occurred in modern society as of late. and that's very good, obviously.
Yeah.
And while Pulp Fiction is more, shoot and kill and murder, it's still, like you said, it has that X factor to me.
Yeah.
You know, it has that X factor that just makes it a tad higher.
It just does. Whatever it is, it has it. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think Pulp Fiction's taking that one.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll give you Shawshank Redemption.
Man. All right. And in response, I give you Good Will Hunting.
Good Will Hunting. I like it.
This is going to be hard. I haven't watched Shawshank in a minute, but I know that it's a 10 out of 10 for me. Wow. Okay, so off the bat, Good Will Hunting is an incredible story about therapy and in general. I mean, the movie itself is therapy, you know?
Yeah.
It's about you matter. You are important, and your upbringing is not your fault.
Yeah.
Quite literally the story.
Yeah.
And Robin Williams and Matt Damon are
phenomenal chemistry. I
mean, beautiful, absolutely brilliant.
I think that I haven't seen Saving Private Ryan, but I think out of everything I've seen out of Matt Damon's career, which he's had a pretty prolific and long career, I would say Good Will Hunting is probably his best performance, honestly.
Yeah. If I remember correctly, Saving Private Ryan, he is really good.
Yeah.
But this is like a whole nother level, I'm pretty sure.
And it's real. It's a very real feeling movie, you know. It Will Hunting feels like a real person because he is supposed to represent, you know, like a younger, hot-headed kind of person in society, and Robin Williams is obviously a more aged, you know, therapist.
Right.
And Robin Williams, I think, is definitely probably the star, like in terms of who really gives like from start to finish. I think who really like makes or breaks the movie is probably Robin here.
Yeah.
And it's wow. It's there's some great scenes in there, I think, with just pure emotion between him and Matt Damon, you know. And it feels so real, so raw. I think I cry every time I watch this movie.
I definitely do. And I love that it's a story about like you could be, you know, he is incredibly gifted.
Yeah.
He is a genius, and he could easily be the top professor at any college you wanted to work at.
Yeah.
And he could be renowned for his genius. But just because you're good at something, that I love that the story is you can be incredible at something, and that doesn't mean you have to, you know, that doesn't mean you have to do that for life.
Yeah.
It's not, if it doesn't make you happy, then don't do it.
Yeah, if you don't have a passion in it and stuff. Then
It is obviously can be seen as a waste to have this character who is a mathematical genius and literature genius, you know, an artistic genius. He knows about everything.
Yeah.
And it can be seen as a waste for him to not want to do anything with that. But at the same time, you can't make somebody do anything that they don't want to do. If he doesn't want to do that for his life, he doesn't have to.
Yeah.
I just love that that's the story.
Yeah.
But Shawshank Redemption, on the other hand.
Yeah. Shawshank is it is a Goliath. To say the least, I think, in terms of movies. I really love Shawshank. I think it's a movie that builds the entire runtime of the movie.
Yeah.
Like I'm not even joking. It kind of starts kind of slower. Like I'm kind of like, okay, it's building somewhere, you know. And when it lays that groundwork and it gets into like the mid and, you know, like third act of the movie, it really shines as a highly respected and highly regarded film, which it definitely deserves, based off the story and the thematic things going on that circle the story in terms of like hope and and holding out hope and stuff in even the most like dire of like circumstances. And also I think it does a great job of like kind of humanizing like prisoners in a way.
Yeah.
And showing them in like a not they're like in a people in a real aspect in a way that shows them as people who are either they might have been innocent or guilty of whatever they committed or are convicted of, but they all have somehow, or maybe not all of them, but a decent amount of them have somehow been like taken advantage of still by the cruelty of the system and stuff that can oppress them a little bit, really. And even like when they're like let out of prison, they as we obviously see later in the movie, the older inmates that are like kind of conditioned for that for jail, for prison, they are so used to that lifestyle and they forget and can't adapt to like the change of the world outside that have like went on as they were inside.
Oh yeah.
It really that's a huge issue, and it's very sad and stuff to see that that like very real topic and stuff handled very very well.
And that scene is
it's
an emotional scene.
Very emotional scene, and I think the whole movie though captures that kind of essence though of like prisoners aren't just like animals that are locked in a cage or anything.
Yeah.
Although that's how like maybe society and like some like of like the corrupt like officers and stuff would like to see them as. It's not the truth, they are people that have lives, they have stories, and I think it's a very very strong film.
Yeah.
And Red and what's Andy?
Andy Dufresne,
Red and Andy have a beautiful beautiful friendship, I think, that develops over the course of the film. And Morgan Freeman's line of I just want to see my friend again, bro. At the end, I'm just in pure tears.
Yeah.
I'm almost crying just thinking about it. But I'm in pure tears when his sole thing he wants to do is just see his buddy, And it's a very very emotional film. I think that is highly regarded, definitely for a reason. It's kind of just known. It's one of those movies that after you watch it, you just kind of understand why everyone praises it so well.
Yeah, you like understand everything. You just get it.
I get it.
Danny DeVito meme.
Yeah.
I get it.
But
Shawshank. Oh man, you either get busy living or get busy dying. Oh man.
I love both these movies so much.
I genuinely think I could go for Shawshank though.
I think I gotta go for Shawshank.
I honestly I think these movies are equal.
Yeah, they are, honestly.
You won me over with your speech.
They're both so real and so emotional, and wow.
Yeah. And Shawshank is about, it's about a guy who quite literally did nothing wrong.
Yeah.
He
didn't.
He walked in on his wife's dead body, basically.
Yeah.
And he got sent to prison.
He is a victim of the most unforeseen circumstances. And that's a big thing that his character points out, is that the law, the system, never accounts for unforeseen circumstances. It will never account for unforeseen circumstances because you're not given the benefit of the doubt, ever. You will never be given the benefit of the doubt, especially in cases like murder and stuff like that,
Yeah.
And his character in specific, I think, points out that the system is clearly flawed in a way that it cannot serve out justice correctly to everybody.
Right.
Because the human condition will produce circumstances that a system cannot account for.
Yeah.
That's just how it is.
Just how it is, yeah. And Red's character is in prison for something he did when he was 16.
Yeah.
When he was a child.
Yeah.
He made a awful, terrible mistake.
Yeah.
And he is paying the rest of his life for it when, obviously it's terrible what he did, but he could have easily changed, and he
Yeah.
does. He does change in prison. He's like, I've been a different man ever
Yeah.
since.
That's why I love like when he's asked if like he feels like if he would have done something differently or whatever. It's like it's not even a question. Of course he would have done something different, but that's not even like the point. Is that he made like that dumb decision, that dumb mistake and stuff when he was so young, and he is so much older now, and he is still paying for that mistake.
Yeah,
and that is. I don't know, that feels deeply troubling to
it is, yeah.
To I feel like anyone who watches, I think that a system once again should be able to account for and see that someone made a mistake when they were clearly very young and stupid.
The worst of mistakes,
Yeah.
but still a mistake,
And they've obviously paid for it, like more than paid for it, and I think that shows really with his attitude and his like obviously how he is towards like in the big scenes, or when he's like in the room or whatever with the guys that are like trying to file his paper for getting released or whatever, and they like refuse him every time.
He goes in there like once every like 10 years or something like that.
And then like he gets like accepted or whatever at the end because like he like changed his answer. I forget what the question was, but he changed his answer. But the point of that, at least to me, was like he clearly felt that way the entire time. He clearly felt remorseful, and he felt that guilt and stuff. He felt that way the entire time.
Yeah.
He could have been released, way before this, obviously. And it's kind of like, wow. And he's also supposed to like portray the kind of conditioned also kind of lifestyle, because he's been in there since he was 16 or whatever, and stayed in there since he was like 60 or 70 at the time, so he definitely was supposed to represent that conditioned kind of prisoner who made it on the outside, but obviously at the end, when we all kind of probably think the worst of things is about to happen, he writes something different on the top of the door frame or whatever, and it's very heartwarming, very big moment there in the movie.
Yeah,
Red was here too.
Oh yeah, I love that. Okay, so we're giving it to Shawshank.
That one is Shawshank.
So we have Forrest Gump, Pulp Fiction, and Shawshank Redemption. Let's see. Just for time restraints, I'm going to cut it down to 6 movies each.
Okay, cool.
So let's go. Let's go. Oh man, a lot of these on here I'm remembering you haven't seen. Okay, so all right, 12 Angry Men. Speaking of children being sent to prison, 12 Angry Men.
12 Angry Men. Okay. And I'll give you Grand Budapest Hotel.
Okay. For me, this is pretty easy. I love Grand Budapest, but it is not one of my like 10 out of 10 films. But it is. I think on another watch it could be, but as of right now, it is not. 12 Angry Men is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I think so is Grand Budapest Hotel. But again, like Pulp Fiction, 12 Angry Men just does something different.
Yeah.
That hits. And every time I think of that scene where they all stand up.
Yeah, stand up.
While the old guy is like being racist and yelling, racist remarks. I think about that scene every time. But the movie is obviously more than that. But that scene to me kind of is by itself is why is like the visual representation of like, we want to know how good this movie is. Look at this scene,
Yeah.
But I think that the fact that they made a movie about 12 guys sitting in one room talking about someone who they think is guilty or not, so entertaining.
Yeah.
It's just as entertaining as Grand Budapest, which is a very fast-moving movie and a very, eventful film.
Yeah.
and it's just as entertaining, if not more.
Yeah.
And
it came out 70 years ago, 80 years ago.
Well,
Came out like
60 something years ago, I think. Yeah, it was 57. About 70 years ago, probably. Yeah. Wow. I just feel like that wasn't that long ago, but it was about 70 years ago.
But it still has that same kind of
still
feeling today. You know?
Yeah, like its feeling didn't change.
Yeah, it has aged wonderfully.
Beautifully, yeah.
It's actually kind of crazy how good the movie's aged because it is truly 12 men in a room with a camera.
Yeah.
Just going at it.
Yeah.
You know, good script, good acting, go.
Yeah.
And that's what happens literally.
Yeah.
And like you said, the scene where they get up from the table specifically encapsulates why the movie and how the movie is so good and how it has aged so well. Is that it is perfectly progressive.
Yeah.
Especially for a 1950s movie. I honestly think it clearly shows as well that there was no excuse for being like racist just because it was like the thing back then or whatever.
Oh yeah.
There were clearly people who were like, no, this is bad. This is obviously not a good thing to do. And 12 Angry Men kind of shows that.
Yeah.
Pretty obviously, like the dude's being racist and everyone's like, dude, what are you talking about?
Right,
now?
yeah. Why are you saying
We don't even want to sit on the same table as you, bro. Just be quiet for
they
the
literally
rest of the
tell
movie.
him, go sit down.
Yeah, and he literally is just quiet for the rest of the movie. That's why I love is that the racist dude just for the rest of the movie he's just relegated to.
Yeah, sitting in the corner.
Just sulking.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you deserve.
Yeah, you deserve this.
But the performance though I will say that the performance by the guy who's racist or whatever, he's going at it, man. The performance by all of them, I think
they're all really good. Yeah,
very good. Especially the one guy that like. Do you remember the sweat scene with the one dude with the glasses and the cigarette?
How did they do that?
Yo,
how did they do that?
That scene was so good.
Where he's like deciding if he's like trying to make his cases like he understands the points that they're making are accurate.
Yeah.
But he's still standing true to the fact that he thinks he is guilty.
Yeah.
And then they give him something that refutes his own logic of why he thinks, and he goes, well, he's guilty, I guess.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
And there's big moments in the movie too, like when the main guy Henry Fonda, when he pulls out the other dagger that looks the exact same, and everyone goes,
and it's so funny too because he's like, you're saying there's only one of those, right, or something like that.
Yeah.
And he just tink. It's so good.
I got another one from the dollar store down the street.
I got it for 75 cents.
Do you think that man couldn't get it this easy? Is that what you're saying?
Bro, in the 50s, yeah. I got this for a nickel at the gas station. Yeah, and Henry Fonda in that movie is pitch perfect. And I can't remember the name of the actor, but the guy that plays the main antagonist of the film, he is he's just as good.
Very good.
He honestly might be the best actor in the entire movie. When he is yelling about how they're all wrong and no, I'm right.
Yeah.
And the entire reason he thinks this kid is guilty is because he has his own personal like grudges against his own son.
Yeah.
Like,
bro, that was
when the picture falls out of his wallet and it lands on the table and he notices the picture and he immediately is like, he rants for a second and then he just goes, not guilty. And it hurts. It hurts.
Bro, I think that was the one where the guy when he was ranting, it felt like he was just like pleading to nothing, basically. You know, like and it also feels that way for the racist guy too, but for two different reasons, kind of. For the racist guy, he's like pleading because it's like he's like pleading to nothing because they're like not listening to him.
Yeah.
But the other guy, he's like pleading to nothing because it's like he clearly knows that this isn't, that what he's saying isn't like what he really believes.
He knows it's not what he believes.
He knows he knows he has that prejudice, you know, and he acknowledges that.
Yeah. It's the very last thing. Yeah.
And 12 Angry Men is another good reflection of like Shawshank, another good reflection of like the flaws and the inherent flaws in the justice system.
Yeah.
And the prejudice, obviously.
Oh yes.
In the system as well.
Yeah.
but yeah, I think that that's another good film to go right after Shawshank, because we'll
It
talk
is,
about right
yeah.
after Shawshank. But yeah, that compared to Grand Budapest, I will concede there. I do think that 12 Angry Men is probably the overall stronger film. Although I do probably have both these at like that strong 9.5. Like that's probably like they're both probably just under 10 out of 10s for me.
Okay.
I think Budapest could go up on another watch, and 12 Angry Men could honestly go up on another watch too, because I only watched it once.
Right.
I watched it one time, and it had a pretty big impact on me.
12 Angry Men for me was also one that I watched once, and then I immediately was like 10. I was like, it's one of my favorite movies now. And then Grand Budapest is my favorite Wes Anderson film, and is arguably the best Wes Anderson.
I'd say it's overall the best, honestly.
Yeah. Well, compared to Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Fantastic Mr. Fox is pretty close. Yeah.
That's pretty close, but I think his live action, that's his best live action
definitely.
for sure. It is a 9.5 to me, but I think on another watch could easily go up.
Yeah. And Budapest does a lot right as well. Like that's not disregarding Budapest, obviously. We just said we love Budapest. Ralph Fiennes is really great in Budapest. Yeah. Tony Revolori, really great in Budapest. F. Murray Abraham, who plays Tony Revolori's older version of the character at the end of the movie, very good performance. There are plenty of great performances in Budapest.
Yeah,
I think it has maybe some of the best like emotional kind of feel in any Wes Anderson movie.
Yeah, it gets the deepest and the most personal.
Yeah,
like it really touches on their like emotion.
Yeah, and it also kind of feels the grandest in a lot of ways.
Yes,
like even from the opening sequence of the big like shot, the iconic shot of the hotel. You know, and it's like, wow, this is like a big kind of scale thing, and it spans over years and years.
Mm-hmm.
And I also love the very end of like the movie where it's like a young girl reading the story of the hotel like through a book. And it's like the whole movie is kind of the idea of like how stories kind of are like passed down from person to person and stuff, from generation to generation.
Yeah.
And they kind of outlive like people.
Yes.
And things and buildings, you know, are these stories. And Budapest, all the praise to it, but 12 Angry Men definitely got a side on that one for sure.
All right.
So
Forrest, I'm trying to remember what we got here. So Forrest Gump, Pulp Fiction, 12 Angry Men, and Shawshank. Yes.
Okay.
All right. 2 more from each of us.
Okay. I got let's do Interstellar.
Okay. Wow. Okay, that means I gotta pick, because that's one of my top 5. So I have to pick another one of my top 5 for this one. Fuck it, man. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once.
Okay.
The 2 movies that we already compared to each other in a previous episode.
Yeah.
For being grand told scale films.
Yeah.
And having very personal stories.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I think I've already put myself in a corner here. This is really hard.
This is very hard.
Wow. Okay, so Interstellar.
Yes.
Interstellar is a beautiful, beautiful odyssey through time and space.
Yeah.
And through life.
Yeah.
While missing out on life, basically.
Yes.
I love Interstellar, and I love the feeling of grandness that it gives. You can watch it on like any size screen, and it feels like humongous.
Yeah.
But definitely a theater screen, I'm sure, is like immaculate.
I couldn't imagine it on like IMAX.
I really need to watch it at IMAX. But it's just, I don't know. I just love how personal it is.
Yeah.
I love how personal it is. How they leave our galaxy, they go to a different galaxy, and love still connects this family. You know, it's beautiful.
I think what makes it possibly the best sci-fi of all time is the fact that it is an odyssey, a story that it spans across time and space, and it shows that the singular thing that connects us as human beings is our love and connections to one another.
Yeah.
And it is a beautiful film that shows you these grandness and these grandiose ideas of science and theories of time dilation and wormholes and other planets and different galaxies and black holes and what happens when you go in a black hole. It has all these strange phenomenons, the fourth dimension. It has so many crazy things. But where does all that lead? All of that leads to love, to the love that connects him and his daughter and what separates them. And also another great thing about Interstellar is that our main character is subverted for like the actual like of who actually like saves humanity in a sense. Although Cooper definitely Cooper in a sense as in Matthew McConaughey's character does his part in ensuring humanity's survival and stuff. It's his daughter, obviously, that is the main culprit for finding out and basically prolonging humanity, literally putting us on a mechanically made like structure around Saturn, I think is what they said.
Yes, for currently orbiting Saturn.
Yeah, and so it's a very good way to subvert the like expectations and everything, and obviously the end result of each character is kind of different. Like Anne Hathaway's character, Matthew McConaughey's character, his daughter. Obviously, they all kind of end up at like different kind of points in their life and in time and space in general and stuff. And I think the most like visually shocking moment of the movie for a lot of people is definitely like Matthew McConaughey like holding the hand and like kissing his daughter, who is like way older than him and stuff,
physically at least.
It's definitely the most like one of the most jarring. I know that they do like literally bend like light and space and stuff in the movie. He goes in the fourth dimension and stuff. It looks weird and Christopher Nolan complex like and stuff, but it's also just really, really well connected. It's all really well connected. And that moment when you see that when he was pounding the bookshelf at the beginning, at the end of the movie, but
we find out that it's him at the beginning.
It's him at the beginning. That's obviously a huge moment. And then her line of "It says stay." That obviously him messaging and stuff. That is a pretty big moment in the movie as well. And then obviously everything everywhere. Oh man! I mean, if we're gonna talk about the phenomenon of last year, I don't think anything was bigger.
There was nothing bigger.
If Barbie's this year, everything everywhere was last year for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
And wow, obviously we talked about this before, but similar kind of approach and storytelling to Interstellar, where it has this grandiose idea, huge idea, and it tells it in a very grounded and emotional way, like probably the most grounded and emotional way you can get. Literally a relationship between a mom and her daughter is basically will decide like the result of the multiverse. You know? It's like it's so like poetically grounded.
Yeah, because this daughter doesn't feel seen and heard and loved by her mom.
Yeah,
so she destroys the multiverse, but not in a superhero.
Yeah,
I'm gonna destroy the multiverse. It's purely like, I'm sad and depressed, and you've pushed me to the edge of I want to die.
Yeah,
and so I'm gonna take down everything with me.
Yep, and
it's beautifully told. And then it also does a little more than Interstellar with family.
Family,
it is family rather than just the daughter. Whereas Interstellar's more the father and daughter.
Yeah.
He loves his son, but it doesn't really show that connection.
Not as focused. Yeah.
It's not as focused. Whereas the focus in Everything Everywhere is the daughter and the husband and the father. Or her father.
Yeah.
And it's so emotional every single moment, every
Yeah.
single time. I mean, you know, the line
And
about
the grandpa too, yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
her father, yes.
Literally a whole family. Yeah, it feels like a whole family, you know, that I definitely see that difference with it in Interstellar, that it feels like a fully kind of expanded upon family,
Yeah.
you know, with every aspect touched upon.
Yeah.
Rather than Interstellar, which is a little more one note in terms of the family aspect and
Yeah.
stuff.
And then the but I think it's easily like every bit. There's not like one bit that's like not as emotional, or like there's, I think it easily, or it perfectly captures the emotion of each individual family member that she has a relationship with. You know, her father and her confronting him about how he, you know, she doesn't feel loved by him, basically.
Yeah.
And which is inverse. The daughter does not feel loved by Evelyn.
Yeah.
And then the oh my god, her and Ki-Hui Kwan, Waymond. Obviously, probably the big tearjerker of the film is I'd love to just spend, you know, life doing laundry and taxes with you.
Yeah.
And I love that this movie is you know, you don't really know what you have until you see what could happen, or I don't know, you just don't know what you have.
Yeah.
You know, you don't really understand what you have and how good you have it, you know.
Yeah. So you see like every other version of
Until
you
yeah,
that doesn't have it, or does have it, and it's not the same, you know.
Yeah. And it's you know, trading a life with someone who you love and that loves you more than anything, is that worth trading for a life of fame?
Yeah.
You know. And obviously that's kind of the inverse idea that La La Land talks about, is trading love for your passion and your fame, you know. But in a, not in like a greedy sense, but in a, we would not be happy together if we got together, because we would then be giving up our dreams.
Yeah. Well, some people say, I don't know, because La La Land technically can be contrived a little differently, but some people say that the ending of La La Land is more so like that they're that like Emma Stone and Ryan Gosling like aren't as happy as they would have been if they pursued love over their career. And the backing of this is that Emma Stone's character throughout the entire movie wears very colorful dresses and clothes.
Mm-hmm.
It's very vibrant the entire time. It's pretty noticeable.
Yeah.
The colors of La La Land in general are pretty noticeable, but her specifically, her outfit design choices, those are all noticeable. And in the final scene, she's in a black dress.
She's wearing black, yeah.
Yeah.
Also, she's with the guy from That Thing You Do and not Ryan Gosling.
Yeah.
So that's something, an indication too.
But I definitely do like though that it does kind of go that opposite direction of La La Land.
Yeah.
Where it's like, you know, keeping, you know, the life that you do have, you know, realizing the joys and stuff in the life that you do have can be 1,000 times more important than having, like, you know, riches and being famous and stuff like that. You know, just being able to appreciate the loved ones and stuff in your life.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, I completely agree. These are really two hard movies
Very hard
to pit against. I honestly think wow, this is really hard.
It is.
This is really difficult. Man, I might just have to go Everything Everywhere. I think, I don't know though. I don't know.
So hard. I can probably give you Everything Everywhere because they are close for me. Although I do think Interstellar is probably better.
Interstellar.
But Everything Everywhere is close. It is extremely, extremely close for me.
Yeah.
Like,
I'd argue that Everything Everywhere,
probably the closest so far that we've done.
I think I'd argue that Everything Everywhere is the movie that got me into watching all these movies that I've watched. Is
Okay.
like I watched this and I was like, this is like the greatest thing that I'll ever lay eyes on.
I mean, I'm definitely, I won't be upset about moving Everything Everywhere on.
Man, but it's hard for me too because these are.
Interstellar's great.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm just gonna go Everything Everywhere.
Okay.
If we're both willing to go that, then
Yeah, we can do Everything Everywhere.
yeah. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So we got one more
Final round.
and we'll probably just have to call it after that because it's getting to be a long episode.
Yeah.
So, and we still got to talk about what we watched. So
Yeah.
we'll call it after this one. Just a fun pit against movies.
Yeah.
Rather than a tournament. Anyway.
Basically the first round of tournament.
Yeah,
Cool.
first round of tournament. Yeah. Maybe we could come back next week and do the
Okay.
pit them against each other. All right, so you can choose one more.
Okay. Go Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith.
Okay. All right. Well, I think the only fair response to this is Avengers Infinity War.
Dang.
I think that's the
Okay.
only fair response here.
Well, gotta go Avengers Infinity War here.
Really?
I mean, yeah, I think that Infinity War is clearly the overall better made movie for sure. And it definitely has the more climactic moments and stuff like that. You know, the big cinematic moments and stuff with the really maybe even some of the best writing that the MCU has given us, really. Yeah. And with the obviously the study of Thanos and everything, and also the handle of the huge amount of characters I think might be handled the best in Infinity War. While Revenge of the Sith is very good, it is probably my favorite Star Wars movie actually. I think that it isn't overall as sound as Infinity War, and there are some parts of Revenge of the Sith that are better than others for sure. Like the ending sequence of Revenge of the Sith, from when Anakin and Obi-Wan start fighting and stuff to the end of the movie, that is clearly stronger than the rest of the movie. Although the rest of the movie isn't bad, it's just clearly stronger.
Right.
Infinity War really doesn't have. I mean, obviously the ending twist is kind of shocking, but I wouldn't say that that's inherently a better part of the movie than the other acts. You know, the other acts definitely. The first act really builds up for the second and third, and the second and third are kind of just as good as each other, rocking at the same kind of speed for me.
Yeah.
And
there really isn't a weak
fights
moment.
are amazing.
Yeah, incredible.
Probably the best. Probably, I don't know. Maybe the best live action. I would say a lot of the best live action comic book fights come out of Infinity War for me.
That's a very fair sentiment.
There are some other ones. You know, I'd say Guardians 3 has some good ones. Civil War has some good ones. Endgame obviously has some good ones.
But there's so many in Infinity War that it's it
so many good ones in Infinity War too. They're all good.
There is no low moment in Infinity War.
Yeah.
Infinity War is if the ending of Revenge of the Sith was just one whole movie.
Yeah.
It's
and it's very, very phenomenal. And obviously it was a cinematic moment for sure.
Oh yeah.
And
an achievement for
definitely
sure.
got to give that Avengers the edge there over Star Wars.
I'm gonna give it obviously to Avengers 2. I'm not huge. I'm not as big as you are into Star Wars.
Yeah.
I don't even know the last time I saw a Star Wars movie, to be honest. At least one of the good ones, like the original trilogy or the prequel trilogy.
Yeah.
But I do know about Revenge of the Sith from what I remember it being one of the better ones.
Yeah.
And I enjoy, obviously the memes of it.
Oh yeah.
A lot of Star Wars for me is memes.
Yeah.
But that's still it still is Star Wars.
Yeah.
I mean, because you don't when you watch the movie, it's not like those memes are edited to be different from the movie. It's literally just taking those scenes.
It's what's there.
Yeah, it's what's there. And actually, the most recent Star Wars movie I watched was Revenge of the Sith, but it was when we were working and stuff, so I wasn't paying complete attention to it.
Yeah.
But it was much better than I remember it being. So
I think as a film, it's definitely the most sound prequel film. The other two have very, very enjoyable moments, but don't touch Revenge of the Sith. Revenge of the Sith is so good it feels like in like the up there with like the best of the original trilogy. Like it feels like it's up there with Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi.
Okay.
Those are my 3 favorite Star Wars movies: Revenge of the Sith, Return of the Jedi, and Empire Strikes Back. And Revenge of the Sith might be number 1.
Yeah.
But I also do have a I also do have a deep nostalgia for Hayden Christensen as Anakin in Revenge of the Sith. Like a deep nostalgia for it.
Yeah.
Like it's embedded in the back of my brain.
Yeah.
Liar!
Yeah. You've turned her against me.
You will not take her from me. You have done that yourself.
Yeah. I love
Ewan McGregor too. I feel like he's always the unsung hero of the prequels for some reason. But
which is strange.
He's so awesome.
Yeah.
He is perfect. I mean, he has his own show now, so I guess that he's gotten a little bit more respect. But he is awesome in the prequels. Like and especially Revenge of the Sith, he's riffing off Hayden whenever they're on screen together. He's
bouncing off each other,
perfectly. And he's talking to CGI Yoda, acting with CGI Yoda in the room and stuff.
Yeah.
He's doing great, man. And then obviously Mace Windu. Can't forget about Mace Windu.
Oh, yeah, you can't forget.
That's Purple Man.
Yeah, Purple Man. He literally changed the Star Wars canon.
Yeah. So I want a purple lightsaber. I want to get one.
You could probably get purple.
You could probably get purple.
That video is so funny. And he looks at the camera.
He looks like he won.
Yeah.
He said,
he's so happy.
Hey, look at that.
That's so good. That's so good. Well, I guess with that, we'll hop into what we watched.
Yeah.
So, you have nothing.
I do have nothing.
Again, grinding in Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, Baldur's Gate. I also did start Red Dead 2, the story on that. So
I've only gotten in like 10 minutes into that story. I need to complete everything else that I want to complete and focus on Red Dead because I hear that it's like one of the greatest experiences.
Yeah, and it's super immersive too. It's like you can do like a lot of stuff. Like, it's actually kind of crazy how much stuff you can do, and the map is like there's a lot to explore and stuff. But I won't take up too much of the time though because you know what everyone's here for.
Yeah, everyone that listens, however many people that is, they want to hear us talk about Breaking Bad.
For sure.
I finished Breaking Bad, and all I can say, well, not all I can say, but what I will say to start this discussion off is I have no idea how to feel. Not that I think it was bad, or not like I'm leaning that it was bad or it was good, but that I genuinely am feeling an emotion that I cannot quite understand. This might be the greatest piece of media that I've ever witnessed. And I don't say that like I don't say that as like an over exaggeration. I've seen at this point quite a lot of media. And this I'm surprised that it's a TV show, to be honest. But this is one of the greatest, if not the greatest thing that I've ever seen. And it is proof. It is a living existence proof that TV is cinema. And I don't know that there are a lot of people probably arguing that it isn't, but if you are, this is the proof that it is. This is an incredible show from the very first second to the very last second. Not 1 second of this show is at all bad. Even the lowest point in the show, that the worst I can say about the show, the absolute worst I can say about the show is that the first half of season 3 is kind of slow. And that's it. And there's still so much that happens. So my overall thoughts on the show, best thing ever made, 20 out of 10, 20,000 out of 10. I love it, so I have to rewatch it. I might rewatch it.
Yeah.
But I need to talk about season 5 specifically. So, I'll be honest. At this point, I finished it earlier this week. I can't remember everything that happens in the first half of the season. I know they do the train robbing.
Yeah.
Todd, that psycho.
Jesse Plemons.
Jesse
man.
Plemons is great. He's wonderful. And he's a very strange character that I feel about because I genuinely, I watch him, without any hesitation, murder a child.
Yeah.
But the entire time I see him on screen, I'm like, I kind of enjoy his presence. He's kind of he's nice,
Just wait till you watch El Camino, because that is going to be like amplified, I kind of enjoy. He's not. I mean, he's horrible, but he's not.
I don't
entirely.
hate him.
Yeah.
Even though I should. I know I hate him, but I don't because he's so polite. He's so nice. But obviously terrible human being.
Yeah.
But
that was crazy when he murdered.
When he shoots the kid. And what kind of sucks is I already knew about that. I had already seen that scene beforehand, so I knew it was coming up. I was waiting for that moment. But Todd is a very interesting character to me, or a very divisive character for me because I hate him, but I don't hate watching him because he is polite, and I'm like, he's polite,
Yeah.
And I know that maybe being polite isn't all that there is, but it's still. As a character that I'm viewing who is not real, it's hard to be against them.
Yeah.
But I honestly feel that way about every single character in this show. I don't hate them and I don't love them, but they are incredibly written and I do have love and hate for them.
Yeah.
It's such a weird feeling because Walt does in season 5 and at the end of season 4 specifically does some of the most heinous things anybody could ever do.
Yeah.
And I still am not sure how much I hate him and how much I love him. And I don't know. It's very, very conflicting. And what I've said to the people that I've talked about or that I've talked to since I finished it is the one thing that you can be 100% sure of the entire time that you're watching the show is that you will want Jesse to be happy. And when that final moment at the end of the show, when he's set free, that's a beautiful moment.
Yeah.
And I'm not even joking. So from Ozymandias to and through Granite State and to Felina, my jaw was open the whole time. I don't think I closed it ever. There were moments when I was either feeling a different emotion, but my jaw was open the whole time, and I was either dry-eyed or crying. It was either one. It was like, Jesse. I can't even talk about anything else other than this ending. I have to talk about the last few episodes. So, spoilers. I can't talk about this without spoiling it. Biggest spoilers ever.
Yeah.
Hank dies. I didn't know that. This is the one thing in the entire show that I don't think I knew. And when they pull the gun on him and Walt is like trying his best to like, no, stop, don't shoot him. I remembered the meme of him falling on the ground and then laying on the ground.
Oh my gosh.
And when I remembered that, I was like, oh no, Hank is gonna die. Hank's gonna die. And I wept.
He made up his mind 10 minutes ago. You're too stupid to see it.
Oh.
Bro, that was crazy.
Damn.
Because in that moment, you're like, damn, even Hank knows it. Fuck.
Yeah. Hank knows.
Do what you gotta do. Bro.
I actually, that's another thing. You know that 100% you hate Jack.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I mean, from the very first second you see Jack and his crew, you know you hate them because they have Nazi tattoos. It's like if there's any way to make someone hate a character.
Yeah, that did feel pretty on brand at the end of the show. They're like, yeah, here are these Nazi guys real quick. You're definitely gonna hate these guys for sure. Like if there was any moral ambiguity, grayness going on before, you know how you feel about these guys.
Yeah. And it's so funny because it goes to show that, Walt is not a good person. in any degree, in any sense of the word.
Yeah.
But at the end of the show, you root for him to kill these guys because they gave them Nazi tattoos, and you know that's bad. So
Yeah.
it's like automatically you have given somebody that we can easily root against,
Yeah.
which is, I mean, perfect. You know, it's
not only that they do also take Jesse obviously, and,
and that's
torture him and shit.
the
Basically.
biggest sin is taking Jesse and torturing him. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's great. My favorite thing about might be this entire show is how this show does not affect the world. It is purely, you know, all this affects, you know, him and his family and maybe the town because he sells drugs, you know.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it really only affects him and his circle of people.
Yeah.
I love that the last 3 episodes feel like an apocalypse film. It feels like a post-apocalyptic world, and it's a beautiful way to show that even though the world itself is like nothing has changed at all for the world, you know, but it's to show that Walt's world is gone, is post-apocalyptic.
Bro, when he goes back to I forget their names, Elliot and
Gretchen and Elliot.
Yeah, Gretchen.
And he goes to their house and tells them to give the money to him or he'll have them killed.
Bro, and
or whatever.
Skinny Pete and Badger.
I love that. At first, I was like, no way. He actually hired he hired some dudes to like track them for the rest of their lives. And they got in the car and it was Skinny Pete and Badger. I was like, that's the best way to use their characters in the final episode. That's the best way to utilize them.
I don't know. I just thought Walt's writing, man, when his hair grows back out in those last like 2 episodes is like, wow. I mean, his writing all the time is crazy, but like that's when it's like,
yeah, it's bafflingly good.
He's went through realizations. Obviously, he's come to terms with stuff.
Yeah, he's accepted who he is.
Yeah,
literally. Literally. And that's the thing about the show too is this is my thing is there are only 2 moments, or not moments. There are only 2 episodes in the entire show where Walt is a truthful version of himself, and that's in episode 1. He is Walter, and that's an episode or the final episode, and he is Heisenberg. I know that it's the meme.
Yeah.
It's the meme to say, you know, this is when he became Heisenberg. I say he didn't become Heisenberg until he had nothing left, because when you're leading a double life, you aren't really either the two.
Yeah.
You know, he's pretending to be Walt and Heisenberg throughout the entire show, minus those 2 episodes. And so in that final episode where he is finally like, he has nothing to protect, he has nothing to save, he is completely able to just be Heisenberg.
Yeah.
It means that Walter's gone.
Yeah.
It means that there is no Walter now. And so I think you can't truly be, you know, a version of a character unless you have completely accepted. It's kind of like, you know, Spider-Man. You know, Peter Parker is Spider-Man and Spider-Man is Peter Parker, but arguably he's truly neither of the two, because he can't put all his life doesn't revolve around one singular part of his life. And so like if everybody in his life died and he had no one to be Peter Parker to, he could be Spider-Man 24/7 and then he would be Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And it's the same with this, is he loses everything and everyone, so he finally doesn't have to hide anything from anyone.
Yeah.
He can just be Heisenberg.
Yeah.
So that's when he truly becomes Heisenberg for me.
I honestly think the best moment in the show, I don't know if it's the best like pure wow moment, but I think best writing moment in the show is when he goes back and talks to Skylar, and he goes,
"Yep,
I did it because I liked it.
Yeah,
I was good at it."
He tells the truth. It's the first time he's ever honest in the entire show.
Bro, that's the moment where you're like, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Wow, and thank you.
Yeah.
We were waiting for it, and it's such a great arc. It honestly is a great arc of realization and self-realization and stuff about like what you really love and what you're really passionate about doing, even though he obviously, you know, it's one of the more worst things you could be passionate about doing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it still shows that he was actively passionate about pursuing his craft and stuff like that, despite it being heinous and everything.
Right.
And despite what everyone thought of him, he was good at it and he liked it.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not hiding that anymore. He's not trying to, justify it anymore. I think that's the best part of his character, that he's not trying to justify his actions anymore.
He has no excuses anymore. Yeah.
And I love that he simply knows that, like, he knows that he's like a goner at this point. He knows that he's basically a dead man, but he has a job to do. He has to make things right with Jesse, and that's what he has to do. You know? And he has to make. That's like literally the one thing driving him, basically, in Felina is I have to make things right with Jesse.
Yeah,
that's how I have to end things.
Yeah.
And
in one of the final episodes, he says Jesse's like family.
Yeah.
And it's the first time he ever says that at all. And it hits when he hugs him.
Yeah.
When he hugs him and he's Tal, you want to send me away for you, it makes it easier on you. And he hugs him and he's like, he doesn't say anything, but he's like, I actually care about you. I care about you and I want you to go be happy.
Yeah.
On the opposite hand of that, when he tells him, I watched Jane die.
Oh my gosh.
That was the moment. Like when Hank died, I was like, oh no, and I was like really sad, and I like jaw dropped for a moment.
Yeah.
But that moment when he said, when he goes up to his face and says, I watched Jane die, I couldn't think of what I would ever say in that situation. Yeah. I all I could do is just be baffled that they actually made him say that. Yeah. But the final, and so I have maybe an unpopular opinion on the fact that Ozymandias is probably the best episode. I think it is probably the best episode. I agree with that.
Yeah.
But I don't think it is much better than any of the other episodes. I think it is maybe a step above.
I don't know. I think honestly the last 3 episodes in general are all around the same
level of
quality, honestly.
I think that's honestly how I probably feel too, is just like Ozymandias obviously has so much happen in it.
Yeah.
But what I've done is I've been comparing Ozymandias, which is the highest rated episode of like television ever.
Yeah.
And the Fly episode, which is the lowest rated episode of this show.
Yeah.
And when I look at those 2 episodes, I don't think either one of them is worse than the other. I just think that one has more going on. I think they're both written equally well. I think they're both written only one takes a character approach, a more dialogue heavy, talking about feelings and things that have happened.
Yeah.
And this one is just things happening.
Yeah.
So I think that they are equal, but what makes Ozymandias stand above specifically that episode is that it is crazy. It has so much stuff going on. But I also do think that Ozymandias and the last 2 episodes are honestly equal.
Yeah.
I mean, I even work with someone who doesn't think that the ending is as good as the rest of the show, and I just can't fathom that.
No, I thought the final shot in particular of like
Baby Blue.
Yeah, zooming out.
Oh my God.
And Walter's face, it's perfect.
Yeah.
It is perfect.
It is. Yeah, it is perfect.
Like his conclusion,
There's no other way it could have gone. You couldn't have been arrested. It just wouldn't have been fulfilling.
He literally died in a place that he loved, a meth lab, and he he went out in a way that he would have probably preferred rather than going to jail and everything, and he died with a slight grin or smirk on his face.
Yeah, he did.
So. You honestly can't really ask for a better ending from.
I really don't think you can.
From a character, honestly.
I don't think you can,
and Jesse's. Oh my gosh, his ending, driving away
when
in
he
the
drives
car.
off.
Although technically El Camino solidifies his ending. You viewing it in the context of this is what the show was going for. This is what
without
they
the movie.
had. Yeah, this is what they had for his character intended.
He drives away laughing.
Wow.
And smiling.
And like crying kind of all at the same time. It's like, wow.
Oh man, he's obviously the most tragic character of all time. There is no other character that is as tragic as Jesse. But specifically in those last 3 episodes, he gets even more tragic when they just murk his girlfriend And he just, yeah.
Bro, oh my, oh, you're talking about when he's like,
He's screaming
van or
in the
whatever.
van. And he's got tape over his mouth.
Bro, Aaron Paul, bro.
Aaron Paul, and then it's the last thing he says to Walt. Say it. Nothing happens till you say it. And I want this.
I want this, bro.
It's the greatest thing to ever be made. I congratulate Vince Gilligan. 15 years too late, but I can't. And I just think it's weird that there are people that don't like the ending. What did you want to happen?
I don't know, man.
Because the whole point is you don't want good for Walter, but you also don't really want bad. Because it's weird because his death it's satisfying for you because you see him die. You see this bad person die, but you're also happy for him for dying because it's what he wants.
Yeah.
And so it's such a weird. There is no like 100% feeling on any character besides Jesse in the show. I really
definitely feel that.
And Hank is obvious.
But that's because they're human. That's the best thing about the shows, that they're all gray. They all, have flaws and things that inherently make you like them or want to like them or sympathize with them. Yeah. They are human. They literally are. They feel and act like real people.
Yeah.
Despite, maybe having more dramatized lives, of course, still feeling like real people.
Yeah.
And
that's
something that is maintained, I think, throughout. Also, Mike's demise as well.
Oh, man.
That was honestly one of the biggest detractors that Walt did in the show, in the entire show for me, is how he killed off Mike. Because it was so unneeded.
You didn't need to happen at all.
Literally did nothing. It provided nothing at all, and it felt so pointless.
All it did was drive him and Jesse further apart.
Like when it happened, I literally was just like, I do not feel good right now. Like that hurts.
He just falls over. And he just let me die in peace, Walter.
No, that sucks, bro. When he just sighs. And Walter comes up, and I'm just like, at that moment, bro, I was like, bro, leave him alone, bro.
Yeah, don't
just let him go.
Mm-hmm.
He's you've done enough at this point, bro.
Yeah.
And that was a hard moment.
Mike
wasn't he wasn't big, but he was. But he was there.
Yeah, I guess Mike's kind of another character you feel 100% about too. I think you either like his character or you don't. But I don't really know why you wouldn't, because he's just a grandpa. Yeah. He's a grandpa who loves his daughter, is just trying to get her money.
Yeah.
It's so funny because Mike is the good version of Walt with Jesse. He's like what Walt thinks he's trying to be with Jesse. You know,
kind of, yeah.
Because Mike is a genuine, kind of, good mentor figure that it cares about Jesse. He shows right away. He doesn't ever hate on Jesse or anything. He doesn't blame him for anything.
He gives him real advice and is there to help him.
Yeah.
In a lot of circumstances and stuff,
Yeah.
I actually think when Jane dies and Walter leaves Jesse to witness the aftermath, it's Mike who kind of comes to his rescue there.
Yeah, because he's obviously the guy that cleans up everything.
Yeah,
but he also talks to him.
Yeah,
he tells him what he needs to do to make this real.
Yeah,
but he also is giving words of wisdom and care at the same time.
He's not devoid. He doesn't feel devoid of emotion.
Yeah, yeah. Mike is a great character who doesn't even you don't notice he's you don't really notice him until he's gone, because he's such a in the background kind of guy who's in the foreground.
Yeah,
it's very
I agree, bro.
Very interesting. And then another thing is I don't hate Skylar.
Yeah, I don't think she. I don't think you can realistically, looking at what Walt put the family through and stuff. I don't think you could realistically hate her.
Yeah,
does she make stupid decisions and stuff throughout the show? Yeah, but
so does Walt.
Nothing that warrants hate.
Yeah. Yeah.
And obviously Walt directly brings on a lot of the conflict and stuff that he receives
Yes.
from Skylar or from outside sources.
Right,
and
yeah.
stuff, you know, he is the harbor of that. You know, he is the reason for that.
Yeah.
And not Skylar
Right.
for sure. like,
Yes. And Skylar's the kind of inverse of Walt at the same time, where he says he does things for family, but it's really for him,
Yeah.
and she does things for family, and it's to save the family.
Yeah.
And it's to go against Walt.
Yeah.
Even though technically it starts out being they work together to
Yeah.
try and do it, but then it becomes against.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah. Wow. But this it's perfect. I can't believe I've gone this long without seeing it. And I mean, I'm glad I kind of waited, because I now have the kind of sense to understand of how good it is, you know?
Yeah.
But I think if you haven't watched it, you got to watch it.
Oh, yeah.
I made my girlfriend, I made her watch it. You know,
Yeah.
she's watching it right now. I think she started it last night. Or not last night. She started it like a day or two ago, and she texted me last night. She said I'm on season 2, so she's watching it. So
Nice.
yeah, I love this show. I
It's
almost
very good.
I honestly wish it was a movie so I could watch it all the time.
Yeah.
But it couldn't be a movie. It
Yeah.
just could not be a movie.
Bro, I could not fathom like watching this as it aired, like watching
Dude.
it week to week.
Especially, I just found out the episode where Hank finds out. Apparently, they had to wait a year for the next episode.
No way.
Yeah.
No
I couldn't.
way, man.
At the same time, I would love to watch it as it aired, but
Yeah.
for that reason specifically, I would hate to watch it as
Yeah.
it aired. I
Wow.
love this show. It's the greatest thing I've ever seen. Go watch it, please. Right? It'll change your life.
Yeah.
It will change your life, and I feel different after watching
Yeah.
it. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for tuning in today. We hope you enjoyed your time here at the Cinemaniacs Podcast Lounge, where we
Yeah, your spa-cation.
your vacation. We hope to see you in the next one. If you want, you can find us on all of our socials. You can find us on Instagram at the Cinemaniacs Pod, and you can find us separately on Instagram. I am at Maceo Movies,
I am at Loader Reviews.
where we review movies and TV shows of all kinds
Yes.
that we recommend or don't recommend to all of you.
Yes.
So thank you all for tuning in this week, and we'll catch you in the next one. We'll leave you with this. Baby Blue. I don't know how the song goes. I just know the Baby Blue line.
Brofist.
Profit.
The Cinemaniacs Podcast.